Ladies and gentlemen, everybody around the world, boys and girls, hello and welcome to another episode of The Watchable with me, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise. Yes, indeed, coming up. Get excited wherever you are. We are back with another action-packed episode for you today, covering the world of sports, basketball, boxing, everything in between on this Tuesday morning, afternoon, whatever the world you want to call it. We're up, we're at, and we got our coffee, and we're here to give you the best in show that the world has to offer. Yes, indeed, you can't find nothing better than right here on the Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch, right here on YouTube, every podcasting platform. If you would, go ahead, leave a like on the stream. Comment your thoughts and opinions on whatever you want to talk about today. Please leave a comment. Absolutely, leave a chat in the chat, the script, or in the chat on the sides. We can hear what you got to say. Subscribe to the channel and share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together. Absolutely, we are indeed growing and thriving. It's all thanks to you and your support. But we got a lot to talk about today. We have Devin, Haney to discuss. We have the likes of what I got them. We got a Bivol and Benavidez getting ready to take place. Legitimately going to, or looks like it's going to happen, but under whose regime? And will it not be under Turkey Al-Sheikh? All of that and so much more about here on the show. We got LeBron, we got the Nuggets, we got the OKC Thunder, the battle of the MVPs, and of course, when we get to the end of the show, we're gonna have the championship rounds. That's right, with anything you want to discuss, we can discuss, no question about it. Have your thoughts, have your opinions, have your comments, and when the end of the show comes, you're going to see this banner coming up, and everybody can have their say as to what they want to discuss, whether it's movies, whether it's comics, video games, more sports, don't matter to me. I'm all for it all. We're here for a good time. Gonna try not to be here for a long time, but my gosh, we got so much to cover, and thank you for your support. Also, we're available on every podcasting platform imaginable, Apple, Spotify, you name it, we're there. And if not, tell us, we will get there absolutely. But with all that being said, we have a jam-packed show for you today. Mark my words, you don't want to miss it. Share the show with everybody. Let's get right into the world of sports. They're talking about, again, what you see in the title, Devin Haney in his villain arc. What exactly does this mean when he says he's essentially embracing being the bad guy, him and his father? But we're going to get into that right now. Since we're talking about boxing first and foremost, it is time to step into the ring. That's right. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round one of this show going underway as we have to discuss again in May. One of the more mega cards that we have with Teofimo Lopez, with Devin Haney, with Ryan Garcia, with Rolly Romero, and with Barboza and Ramirez. But just names on top of names, all on the same card, fighting in the streets of New York. No, legitimately, they're going to be fighting in the streets of New York. And mark my words, you don't want to miss it. Going to be free to the public, allegedly. At least that's what we've been told. But all of that is to say, this whole situation has everybody on pins and needles for the return of Devin Haney, for the resurgence, the clean resurgence of Ryan Garcia, and of course the takeover. We're looking to take back over in Teofimo Lopez, all of whom are in the midst of they're all in each other's way, and they all are poised to have big-time matchups with each other down the line. But specifically, we're focusing on Devin Haney, because during the whole build-up of this whole thing in the interviews that we've seen on Twitter and on stage and with his father, he has said essentially, hey, it pays to be the villain. It pays to be the bad guy. It pays to be the man vilified by the public. There was even a whole situation with the likes of Bill Haney going at who's not Chris Maddox, the other buddy that does the zone play-by-play, and who was doing the essentially the hosting of, I believe, yesterday's or 2 days ago's press conference between all four of the boxers. What this means essentially is all of the family feels as though Devin Haney has been unjustly thrust upon, not just him, but also the whole tribe of the Haneys have been forced to have to put on the role of the bad guy in this boxing regime. Almost undeserved. But that's what they want to be. Then, if that's what you want us to be, then we'll be just that and make bank while at it. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, one, is it undeserved? And two, is this really a road that we want to see Devin, or that Devin Haney himself wants to go down? Because I don't think he truly understands what this whole villain arc that he said he wants to embark on truly consists of. And he may just regret it. We're going to explain why. Before we do that, let's get into the comments of what you got to say. Yo, what's up, Al Booger? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in and joining in on the show. Absolutely, Al Peachy. Salute to you, brother. Thanks so much for coming in on the show. Glad you came in on early this morning to come and see what we got to offer right here on the show. Again, we got a jam-packed episode for you. We will get into Benavidez and Bivol. We will get into the rest of the, essentially, the rest of the card that we got for the topics of the day. And championship rounds are still coming. Don't get me wrong, but y'all are here right on time. Right now, we're talking about Devin Haney, focusing on him, at least for this topic, when we discuss the world of his, I guess, villain era that he's in. Like I just said before, understanding that Devin Haney is seen as now looking at himself as, hey, everybody hates me? Okay, fine. I'm the villain. It pays to be there. But let's ask the question. Does he deserve the role of villain in the first place? Has it been unjustly put on him that now Devin Haney is seen in a negative light by the boxing public? Dark Haney, the new era. Maybe so. This could be the new era for him. Now, does that mean his fighting style will be different? That's a whole nother conversation. But strictly with his presentation, is it unjustly thrust upon him that he is seen as the bad guy? Well, let's go back in time a little bit. Understand, there was a point in time when Devin Haney was definitively pound for pound top 10. Oh, we got to talk about pound for pound also, because I believe the ring just put out a new list, and I almost got the list right for who should be there, with Benavidez being there, and now Devin Haney being put back on there at, I believe, number 9, I think, but we'll talk about that later. Main thing is, Haney, in the past, concretely on a pound for pound, definitively seen as one of the best at 135, definitively was seen as one of the best boxers in the world, had been a 2-time champion, had been an undisputed champion, and was seen as one of the biggest threats at that point in time to the likes of, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, all of whom had to essentially fall under, in some way, shape, or form, the umbrella of who reigned in the division. But still, he was getting hate. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget, for all the accomplishments that we have seen Devin Haney do, all the names that we saw him fight, with the war with Loma, going on and fighting against Regis Progress and others. Again, I may be forgetting some names in regards to which, you know what I'm saying. We saw still an air of, I guess you could call it hate. Could you call it hate? I would call it more so the vitriol. I call it vitriol. And it was due to, similar to what we've seen with Shakur Stevenson, the fighting style. Hugging, clinching. The brother wouldn't let go when you tried. Did the same thing against Cambosos. Also, I think he had a record of what most clinches in a fight, or got close to that record of clinch time in a fight, and was genuinely despised by the public. But it wasn't because of his talent. It was because of his style. Just like Shakur Stevenson. People say he's boring. People say he's blasé. People say they didn't want to watch that brother fight. Why would they witness a man who doesn't entertain the masses, regardless of what he is able to do in his boxing ability from the standpoint of, hey, I'm one of the best talents. Now when you look at with the framework, now, this hate versus that hate, it's different. What he's experiencing now is not what he was experiencing in the past. This is a different type of despised public appeal. This is a type of appeal that is not because of his fighting style, but now it's because of him specifically. And he feels he's unjust in the hate that he's getting. But he feels, okay, if I want to be that, I'll be that. Similar to the likes of Floyd Mayweather. Let's not forget, Floyd was one of the biggest villains of the time. When it came to, as the best in the world at one point, he was definitively despised by the globe. Yes, he was still called boring and all that stuff. People said he ran and all that stuff. Again, all that was not true, if you understand fighting stuff. But regardless of which, he was vilified. But it was because of the brother, you couldn't beat him. It was a different type of Hey, I want to see you get beat because you're one of one. Even almost just as much as he would run his mouth, also because his talent was just undeniable. In this case scenario with Devin Haney, it is almost all strictly because of his mouth at this point in time. His mouth, his dad's mouth, and the suing. Because now, unlike Floyd, you're now not operating in the vein of what a boxer's supposed to be. You took a way out that you shouldn't have any implications of doing, especially with this type of profession. Especially we've gone over the history of the whole drug thing, the whole thing with Ryan Garcia, getting stripped of the win, getting banned, all that stuff, fine, we got it. But the brother still is hated now because of those actions. Now it's more so outside of the ring problems that are making Devin Haney really, truly vilified by the public. And to a degree, he did bring that on himself. Actually, the Haneys have loud mouths. That as well. It's different if it's a loud mouth and inside about your inside the ring ability. It's different. Again, Tio does it. Tio's one of the loudest mouths in the sport outright. Well, it's because the brother's a bad dude from the standpoint of a boxer in the division. But on the whole, it's normally kept again, with what we've seen now, with all the racist stuff, all the rhetoric, all the hateful spewing, getting checked by a couple people, getting checked by Terrence Crawford and others. Hey, outside of the boxing ring, he's made a bunch of enemies, absolutely. But for the majority of his career has been on the inside of the ring that all of the talk has been forwarded on. Now with Devin Haney, he has essentially done what many people feel is the biggest sacrilege when it comes to you as a boxer, which is you going out and suing instead of trying to get it back in blood. Initially. Now that's got everybody saying, look, brother, we can't look at you the same. Not only are you born to watch, but now you go this route and you still talk like you talk. Yeah, we don't like you. Not because we just want to see you get beat, but we just don't like you. You and your father perpetuated this image. And then you went and did what? You sued? Now we've lost a level of respect for you in terms of the wider boxing public. Beyond just we don't like seeing you in the ring. Beyond just of your style. Beyond just, the best can't be beats. We want to see the best get beat. Beyond all of those different types of conversations. Now we just don't like you. Specifically you and your dad. Anybody else around you who's keep perpetuating this level of talk that you have now shown is indeed a lie based on who you said you were. Your actions and your words don't add up. They're literally a night and day difference. That's why a lot of the boxing public doesn't rock with you anymore on a personal level. Since that's the case, now they really don't. They really want to see you get beat because they're just, shoot. Again, you committed sacrilege, blasphemy in the world of the boxing ranks. Going to court instead of getting it back in blood. For something else he shouldn't have gone to court for in the first place. But regardless of which, that is the type of hate that he's getting. It's different than he's ever experienced. Now that he says he's accepted it, okay, I'll be the villain. I don't think he's built for it. That's the biggest problem. I don't think he's built for this. When it comes to being the cloaked in darkness, going to the dark side, having his essentially being the hooded Kermit the Frog, but those who are Muppet fans, but it's essentially crossing over, going to a threshold of I'm embracing the hate. What we see with John Cena right now for my wrestling fans out there, being forget the fans. You ain't gotta like me. I don't know if he's built for what that truly brings. Because he's never been in that realm before. In this situation. And he's on a line that I don't think not only his talent, not only his personal life can be able to withstand. But I don't think his talent can withstand that either. And I'll explain what I mean right after I get to your comments. Let's see. Hey, Nerd, what's up with you? How you doing? Haney not good enough to be the villain. He's more like a villain's minion. See, I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm not the only one that's getting this type of rhetoric when it comes to. Almost forgot to do to get the title card right. Hold on now. Wait, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm still practicing getting this thing right like I need it to be. I'm sorry. I mean, let me try this transition again. There we go. Okay. Boom. Everything's all good now. Also, are you all enjoying the banner that we got? Are you all enjoying the new and improved layout of the Welch Report show? Hopefully, it looks more intuitive. It looks a little bit more upstanding. Absolutely. We put in a lot of work, but we do this for you, the people. We're going to keep on adding to this show. Absolutely. But again, more of a villain's minion. That's how a lot of people feel. This is almost feeling. I don't. Fake is the wrong word, but I think forced is the right word. This feels forced, and it feels like it almost feels like he's in a conundrum of what his identity is in the greater boxing landscape after this whole suing debacle. And this is really bad when it gets down to that, again, that fine line that I talked about. I'm gonna touch on why this is a dangerous road. Okay, let's see. NWO Nitro greater than WWE Raw Attitude Era. What say you? Let's see. Championship match. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get now. That's a take. I'll say that. That's a take. Do I agree? We'll get there when we get there. You got an argument. Do I believe it? I do. We'll have our conversations in the later half of the show. But this is a good talking point, absolutely. But let's see. But see. Okay, so they agree with Nerd. Let's see. I agree. Devin Haney is no villain. Bill Haney is the villain for sure, though. Bill Haney's operating right now as like the front man for the hate. The front man for, again, the talk. You want to talk up your fighter, absolutely. And he looked like a villain from the George Clooney Batman. Y'all are wrong. Y'all are horrible. Y'all are terrible. Y'all are this. Shoot. Woo. Y'all are horrible. But shoot. You're horrible, but you ain't fully out there. Looking like a mad scientist in some situations, especially when that brother get hot. I mean, really hot. But you have to understand. You got to understand. This is a situation, and again, Al Booger. Again, this topic we're gonna get to later in the show. We will, but right now, in the realm of villains and heels, we're going into the wrestling landscape. Bill Haney right now is operating. I don't call it like a mastermind, but I got it. Bill Haney is operating like you would see a henchman who hypes up the man that they're working for, but in actuality, the man that they're working for, is indeed running the show. In this situation, I don't think that's the case. And I think it's more so Bill Haney is doing what Bill Haney needs to do. Talking up people, getting people amped up, mad, upset, whatever the case may be. But now when you look at Devin Haney, who in fact he is championing, this is where stuff gets sticky. Because now Devin Haney ain't living up to the talk that we have Bill Haney saying. Devin Haney's not living up to the perceived ability that we see Bill Haney constantly discussing. He's not. And I think a lot of people see that. And because they see that, and Devin Haney's trying to embrace this role of, hey, I'm the bad guy. Hate me. Go ahead. Spew it at me. Give me all you got when it comes to whatever you want to say about me. Yeah, I'm still that brother. Yeah, I'm still that dog. Yeah, it pays to be bad. He's gonna make a buck, no question. But do we all not remember what happened immediately after that loss to, or what was initially a loss to Ryan Garcia? and how we initially went on essentially in a full-blown tour that looked very much like you are trying to make people believe that the drugs in Ryan Garcia's system were the only thing that got you beat. And again, we've had time to process this whole thing. We've gone through why Ryan Garcia justly was punished. Everything that happened, cool. Glad it happened from the standpoint of, letter of the law. Absolutely. But we've gotten to a point now where he's still saying some of the same stuff. Oh, you had drugs. That's the only reason why you beat me. Ryan Garcia brought up a good point. Brother, steroids don't make you not be able to block left hooks. Barry Bonds, another perfect example for some people who don't know the history of baseball. Baseball was going down. Baseball was losing popularity. Steroid era, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds. Three of the biggest hitters and biggest stars in sport at that point in time. Set a near unprecedented home run race between the three. Or between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. And then Barry Bonds just blew it out the water. But the MLB allowed for them to take steroids, and then when they retired, never went and acknowledged them ever again. Never got in the Hall of Fame. All this stuff. Understandable. They cheated. But the league allowed them to cheat to save the league. But you have to also understand that as much as steroids did indeed impact their ability to hit the ball far, Barry Bonds, specifically Barry Bonds, without any steroids, pre-steroids, was still one of the best hitters in the entire MLB. Would have probably put up similar numbers if he never took a thing in his life, because he was just that good. Genuine. I'm serious. Go look back at the years before steroids and after steroids. Oh, he bulks up. He looks different. He's hitting more powerful. But skill is still the skill. It's the reason why he's considered one of the best hitters. Not just home run hitters. Not just power hitters. Hitters and players in the history of the sport, even beyond just the steroid the scandals. Because we all recognize, this brother's the truth. Because the steroids may implement your power, but brother, to actually make contact, that's a different story entirely. There's people that there were, you know how many people did actually take steroids in the baseball era that got away with it during that steroid era in the MLB, and yet still nothing happened to them? You know why? Because they never got found out. Also, you know why? Because they weren't good enough to have any sort of pop that made a difference, because they couldn't connect with the ball. It wasn't just those three. There was a multitude of people that took steroids during the steroid era. But there was a complete separation because of somebody was indeed skillfully able to do what they could do that others couldn't. In this fight with Devin Haney, the steroids may have impacted his power. Sure. We can have that argument. Though we went through, it wasn't enough. It wasn't in the system long enough to have some sort of drastic effect. But still, he took them. Fine. That doesn't mean that you still didn't have what happened happen. We've seen you had a bunch of a defensive savant. You should have, with your boxing ability, with what we knew of Ryan Garcia in you should have still been able to go and render that left hook null and void. Understanding how to not get caught. Understanding his tendency. Be able to outbox him with your length and with your jab. Have the ability to negate his best weapon. Because it's only good if it lands. Ain't like it made him any faster, because he was already had the fastest left hook in boxing today. The speed and everything else was undeniable. Nothing, so again, it did not stop the left hook from landing. Didn't stop you from blocking. It wasn't like he was punching through your guard, but your guard was hard in that fight. The more we've had time to think about this whole debacle, the whole context surrounding everything, the more people are starting to call Devin Haney's bluff that it wasn't just the steroids that got you beat. It wasn't just steroids that made it so that you got demolished in that fight. It wasn't. You got outmatched in about every department, and you couldn't do a thing about it. And you claiming all this stuff as to why you lost. Again, the punishment is justified. But now you're walking in a situation where even the villains that we talk about, do you know why a villain is an effective villain? Do you want to know why a villain is a very effective villain? It's because they have a track record that we can look to and say, hey, he may be bad, but brother, he did it. He really did it. And when they ultimately get exposed or get beaten or get their comeuppance, it's backed by substance. Now, I'm not saying that Devin Haney doesn't have substance. Again, we went through his resume. Was one of the best in the world. Is right now back in the pound for our top 10. Do I agree? Whole nother conversation. But undisputed champion, 2-division champion, fought and beat Loma and all this stuff. Absolutely. But the substance also was in part, when he faced off against somebody his same size, he looked completely different. He looked completely different. Before we even knew steroids was even in the thing, we were all saying, hey, this Devin Haney. But when you got matched up against somebody that was of your same, at least physical capabilities, everything that we thought you were, you couldn't be in the slightest. And there was no ill will that anybody felt until after this stuff came out. And even then, people had to start with saying, I don't think it was the drugs that still made this performance what it was. I think he just got demolished. So the substance of what it takes to be a bad guy, he doesn't have. Because we don't only know that he's beatable, but we know your biggest kryptonite is also your biggest weapon, size. And now at this new division, anybody else that you want to fight of this same caliber, you don't have that advantage anymore. And we saw what happened when you got laden with the same type of personnel that fits your same stature. Brother, you in trouble. And when, depending on how you feel, we see Devin Haney fight Ryan Garcia, and if he loses, he's not going to be able to take it. Because now it's going to be, well, I embraced this villain role. I wanted to be the villain. Now I lost, and I'm getting double the amount of pushback from what happened the first time I got demolished. Psychologically, I don't know if he can take that. Skill-wise, I don't think his skills can back up the level of success that needs to happen to make this villain arc successful. I don't think he does. Not because he isn't a great boxer, but because when we look at the landscape of 140 and everybody he's going to have to fight, that he will have to fight, I'm scared. Even with this fight with Ramirez, brother, if he loses this fight before even getting to Ryan Garcia, oh my gosh. Oh, shoot. You thought he was clown before. Let this happen now. It'll be, all right, yeah. So this is what Devin Haney was. A size merchant. A size bully. That's what will be part of the rhetoric. Other part will be, oh, see, I told you, you were never that good. Other part will be, yeah, now we don't have to care about him anymore. And then it'll, quicker than a hiccup, but it will lose a lot of the momentum that he had initially going into this sport. It's there. You have to have a modicum of almost perfection if you're going to be a villain. If you ain't entertaining, brother, you got to be perfect. Because people, again, Isaac Cruz is beloved, and he's exciting, And that brother isn't the best of the best. But still, everybody wants to see him. Everybody loves to support him. Because he's a hero. And we want to go that aspect. He's a face for those of you wrestling fans. He can get opportunities time and time again. Because people want to see that. The only reason why people want to see Devin Haney now is because they want their validations to be right that that brother ain't what he is. And the second he loses, done. Shoot, he better be glad that this brother got that no contest against Ryan Garcia. Because if he had lost in that same vein, oh my gosh, brother, he would have, shoot. That would have been hard. The look on not just his face, but what his resume would have then been looked at would have been incredibly scrutinized to the point it would have been picked apart by the boxing public. If it wasn't for that, the whole drug situation. A villain isn't just a villain in talk. Brother, you got to walk like it, and you can't mess up. Devin Haney is at this point in time of everybody who is indeed the quote-unquote villain. And let's be perfectly honest. That whole stage is filled with, it's essentially a rogues gallery. This is literally a tournament of Gotham. Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and that's like, if this was a DC, if this was a DC comic, this would just be this would the battle of the bad. I'm so serious. You gotta have a in the public eye. You got a drug cheat. You got essentially a snitch, and then you got a racist brother, all on the same stage at the same time. All of whose reputations have been put in the dirt in some way, shape, or form. Ryan Garcia with this insanity that he went through in the summer. Teofimo Lopez with what he perpetuated a couple weeks ago to a month ago. Devin Haney, now after getting beat and essentially snitching, that brother's like, oh, you're a rat. The public all don't like any of these people in some way, shape, or form. Let's be real about this. This is a rogues gallery of a fight card. But one is not like the other. And Devin Haney is not like those other two from perception-wise right now. Because with Devin Haney, we trust Teo's skills. We trust Ryan Garcia's power and physical ability. Right now, Devin Haney of those three is the weakest link. That if all of them did fight in a triage, in a full circle, nobody has confidence that anything that Devin Haney's saying right now about what he is, who he is, how much he's going to evolve is going to actually stick. Not a lot of people, me included. But you are talking like it. It can be bad. It can get bad so quick. And Dark Avengers. That's what they are. They're essentially the Dark Avengers. This is essentially a three-headed Hydra of just bad. That's what they are. This is essentially a three-headed Hydra. This is like if Two-Face, Penguin, and the Joker all came together underground and was like, hey, we gonna hash it out for the who can commit the greatest crime in Gotham. All in New York City, Times Square. Like it literally writes itself. And Devin Haney doesn't fit that bill. That brother is not built to be a villain. His skills can't carry what that villain standard needs to be. And if he does indeed continue down this road, and he fails or slips up once, his own his psyche won't be able to take it. His skills will be even more diminished. If he takes the same punishment, his chin will never be the same. And he already doesn't have a great chin. He's got a great heart. Doesn't have a great chin. And I promise you, we may just see that brother slip away out of the limelight. Because he already was at his breaking point when this whole fight initially happened with Ryan. Now he's got to go through a heavy hitter in Ramirez and then fight Ryan Garcia, and he can't mess up in the slightest in any of those fights. Because if he does, brother, he won't. Oh gosh, it's gonna be incredibly bad. It's gonna be incredibly bad. I am. Oh boy, it is. It's bad. Listen, it wasn't just left hook that it wasn't just the left hook. Ryan also kept catching it with the straight right hand. Ryan outthought Devin Haney. See, it's not just the drugs that did it. Do you trust Bill Haney as a trainer and manager? So, as a manager, yes. As a trainer, sure. I'm not mad about what he's teaching. I'm mad about Devin Haney. Again, Bill Haney is setting a precedent that we have to see Devin Haney be able to. Bill Haney's cashing checks or writing checks. Excuse me. Devin Haney's got to cash them. It would be different if Devin Haney had that consistent ability, especially now that he's legitimately in the thick of everything of the biggest threats in his career to date. But we don't see Devin Haney as having that ability to cash those checks that Bill Haney's cashing or that Bill Haney is writing. Because we don't see his physical capabilities being able to live up to what needs to be done to make his technical ability as effective as we've seen it all these years. That's the problem. And because that's the problem, I don't have a problem with Bill Haney as a trainer or manager. He's doing what needs to be done to sell your fighter. But, brother, Devin is the man I'm concerned about. And we've already talked about fathers and sons training with all this other and all this stuff, with the problem that can consist with that. But more than anything, beyond just his father, and you can say what you want about it, how you feel about it, but Devin Haney's the one that's still got to be in the ring to fight. He's got to live up to the standard, and now he is embracing right now. Hate me. Despise me. Make me your enemy. And I'm going to prove you wrong. He already barely took it when he lost to Ryan Garcia the first time, before it got overturned. Now, if he loses this time, with this new type of persona around him, there's a reason why a lot of people don't like the dark side. Because once you cross over, if you fail, when seemingly you let all your inhibitions go, what else is there for you to be you? Because you've lost what made you, you. That's why they spiral out of control. That's why they go insane. That's why they have these mega meltdowns when they go and their plans fail as villains. Because they gave away, they sacrificed a portion of themselves to get newfound power, money, acclaim, or fame. They sacrificed that about themselves to be on the dark side. And when you do that and you fail, what else is there for you to go and lean back on? Because now your backbone's gone. Your standards are gone. Who you are as a person is now completely severed because you willingly let it go. Again, just like with John Cena. Just let it go. You may never be able to get it back. And now you gave up everything about yourself to go and get newfound power, newfound money, whatever the case may be. And you failed, it's going to be bad. Oh, you won't be able to take it. I promise you won't be able to take it. Devin Haney versus Blair Cobb would have been a good fight back. Cobb is 147 and can talk. Yeah, and Devin Haney still, physically, could have been able to beat him. And it could have been, okay, getting a decent puncher, good power. It's all we did to Adrian Broner. You perform better than Adrian Broner, you get confidence, you beat a loudmouth, you get some level of momentum. Great. Fight Ramirez, again, I'm not opposed to you taking big tests, but I don't think you're ready for now back-to-back. Ooh, you got people that can crack. You need to retool, regroup. I wanted that to happen if we want to see that Haney come back. Now, you're thrust back into the deep end directly, and you got to be perfect. If you ain't perfect, it's going to be a problem. Seems like a lot of boxing It seems like a lot of boxing is ignoring Blair the Flair. And I wonder why. I think it's because he just doesn't, people know of him, but in this scene of boxing right now, he's not as big or on the conscious minds of a lot of fans because of what's going on right now. All the mega fights that are happening. He is kind of on the outskirts. He can talk, don't get me wrong. Absolutely. He's going to get a shot to be seen in the spotlight with everybody else. But right now, he's just overshadowed, in my opinion, just outright. You see, Cobb hasn't stopped anybody since 2021, but coming off of 2 wins, he can help build a fight promotion. I was expecting Boots or Devin Haney to fight him. See? That's the thing. He's just overshadowed at this point in time by the wider boxing landscape. Because you got to understand, there's a bunch of people who are good, and their trajectory could have been potentially a whole lot quicker had we not seen a bunch of back to back, all of a sudden mega cards, mega fights, big time events, and people trying to, okay, we taking challenges left, right, and center. We pushing the needle. Not that Blair couldn't do that. No. But on the totem pole of, respect is the wrong word, but on the totem pole of, I guess, hierarchy, he's building his way up. But right now, people are just, so many pieces are moving. Sometimes boxers just get lost in the shuffle, sadly. Now, I hate that that's part of the sport, but that is indeed a part of the sport. Boots could have and should have fought Blair. Feels like that ship has sailed now. I think it has. Sadly, I heard it's only going to be those 3 fights and free. Yeah, so it's going to be free in New York. If you're in New York and go to Times Square, you will be able to walk through, grab a seat, sit up on a balcony or whatever the case may be and watch the fight in total without having to pay anything. I don't think it's pay-per-view. I don't know if it's still free. You may have to pay for it from home. It could be potentially free. Maybe, I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, hopefully so. Keith Thurman fight Wednesday is free on YouTube for us in America. Ooh, I wanted to talk about that also. But right now, let's move quickly. I ain't going to talk about Keith Thurman, though. That is something I do want to discuss. Devin Haney beats Ramirez and Ryan Garcia in 2025. He should win comeback fight of the year. Many questions surround Devin Haney right now. If he does do that, great. Phenomenal. We'd love to see it. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't think so, but if he does accomplish that, especially after the beating that he took and everything that happened afterwards, oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, that would be phenomenal. No, and it would be well-deserved. He would be comeback fighter of the year. No question about that. Keith Thurman fighting a Wednesday in Australia on YouTube, yeah. And again, the butt ain't, it's been what, 4 years? 5 years? How long has it been since we've seen Keith Thurman fight? It's been a minute. We thought he was fighting against, I think, Errol Spence Jr. at one point in time, but it never did. And then it was like we thought he was going to come back again. Never did. Now he's fighting against Jarvis, I believe. He looks fit. He looks ready. He looks like he's prepared. But how long is that ring rust going to take, especially what he's been doing around the globe with his own personal life? Not anything nefarious, but he has been, just got married, went overseas to hang out with the new culture and family that he was looking to build, came back. He's been in the gym, but in the ring and in training, they're two completely different animals when it comes to what and how you move. So it can be a problem. Keith Thurman, a.k.a. the legend of the fall-ups. At this point, one time, we thought it was going to be no time. That we would see his brother ever again. No time soon. That's what we thought it was going to be. No time soon. That's what his nickname was apparently going to be. Because, brother, we didn't think we were going to see that brother anytime soon. Now that he's back, we just got to wait and see if his production's going to be at least somewhat close to what we expect or what we've seen in the past and still be a big threat in the division. Or did the brother wait himself out? And did he take too long to get back in the ring? It's going to be incredible to see. I'm not a huge Haney fan, but it would be amazing if Devin Haney pulled this off. If it did, hey, you give props where props is due. No question about that. Also, J Mix, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the show. Devin Haney is quiet compared to the undefeated confidence he once had, and that shows already losing the fight in his own mind even before stepping into the ring. See, I didn't even get to touch on that. At least like I wanted to. This is indeed one of the biggest problems. And again, I'll touch back on it. Let's see, wouldn't be surprised at all if he had a lackluster performance in his comeback fight. Might even look shaky at times. See, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. I think that being beaten changed, or being beaten changed and took its confidence away out of the ring. It's going to show in the ring too. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Also, yo, Devin, what's good with that? How you doing, brother? Yeah, buddy. Thanks for tuning in to the show. I know exactly who you are. What's up, Devin? Glad that you're here. Glad that you tuned in. If it's your first time, hey, subscribe, brother. You should have been done it already. But I'm glad you're here tuning into what we got going on. We got a phenomenal artist, a phenomenal show. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday talking about the world of boxing and beyond. Absolutely. Right now we're going on to the villain era of Devin Haney. And hey, if you think I'm the best analyst on YouTube, I appreciate it. I'm just doing my best to help the world be better in the sports regime, and hey, make some moolah on the side. If you if you know what I'm saying. But regardless of which, share the show and with everybody that you can. Leave a like on the stream. And again, thank you so much. I truly do appreciate you coming in. But man, we need that Devin Haney rematch, that Devin Ryan rematch. We do. Absolutely. He's got to get there. And that's the biggest thing that is concerning. Can he even get there to have the rematch? It would be really, it would really erase the tragic heartbreak Devin dealt with in 2024. Only way to change the negative narrative is to win. Yes, but also no. Again, y'all are bringing up a lot of good points. We're going to put all this together. I can see Haney jumping at every flank. It's going to cost him. See? And the facts, just get back to winning. Here's what. And listen, I'm going to play this sound, and I'm going to tell you why I'm playing.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here. We got some problems here.
This is the problem. This is exactly what I was trying to touch on. I did a bad job of getting to it. But this is the problem. And let's see. And you're absolutely right. Only way to get back to get the fans back is if Haney gets that rematch and wins, or at least goes down trying his hardest to win. Too bad he didn't give Loma the same chance as well. Understand it. I played that sound, and all of this that you all are saying is indeed valid. But all of this is the exact problem with what we're seeing from Devin Haney as a villain. This is no longer just a situation where winning is good enough, strictly for Devin Haney. This is not because I don't want to see him win, but it's because when it comes to Devin Haney right now, Devin Haney is at a situation where he wants to be hated. Downplay me, despise me. All this stuff, and going further into the talk. Again, he may not be talking the same way that he was, absolutely, after the loss that we saw to Ryan Garcia. And no question, he's changed. He's absolutely changed. But at the same time, you got to understand, the brother went on Ring Magazine and said, yeah, it pays to be the villain. So even though he's not talking as much, he is fully in line with letting his father, all of his other fans, whatever the case may be, any of his supporters, paint him in the light that makes him even more despised. And with that, like I said before, comes bigger expectations for what you got to do. You can't just win, especially after we all felt that you lost already. In your own mind, you can't even justify that performance that you had against Ryan Garcia as drugs. You felt that you lost. But the pressure of I'm the bad guy, to quote Razor Ramon, I'm the bad guy, but you got to live it out. And you can't just win. You've got to win in a fashion that shuts people up. And Devin Haney does not have that ability at this division with these people in front of him. It's got to be more than just a comeback win. He's got to dominate Ramirez. He's got to dominate Ryan Garcia. Or again, go down swinging in a very entertaining display that he is at least somewhat competitive. It's got to be. Because, mind you, I was giving credit for this brother showing heart in that fight with Ryan Garcia and saying he kept getting up every single time. We loved it. Even that type of rhetoric wasn't enough to change and sway the amount of vitriol, the amount of clowning that he got by the likes of the boxing public. Because of the fact that he brought this on himself, wanting to be despised because he'll make some money. Now the standard that you had to perform at, not just to win, but to shut up and be like, dang, I hate you even more, but I can't say anything because of what you did. It's elevated. It is indeed elevated. And that's the problem. At this stage, with everybody physically being able to match up with him, his talent, I don't think can match up to the standards that needs to shake off that essentially the stigma. I don't think he does. Now, I will say, if he beats Ramirez and then beats Ryan Garcia, specifically the main thing is Ryan Garcia. It's not Ramirez that I'm worried about. It's Ryan Garcia. That's the big thing. He can have a bad performance against Ramirez, potentially. And it'll still, everything I say will still be bad. But the ultimate test is still going to be Ryan Garcia. Win that rematch, if that rematch comes, both of them win. But either way, though we know what the end goal is and what everybody wants to care about, there is still a standard of near perfection that he's got to attain, and I don't think he can attain that. And he can't, and if he wants to be seen as a credible threat to Ryan Garcia again, even with the win against Ramirez, it can't just be the same Devin Haney. It can't be the same Devin Haney. It's got to be something different. It's got to be something more dominating, more powerful, faster, stronger, better in every way, shape, or form. It's got to be, because if it's not, people are going to say the same stuff, which is there's no way you can do this. Just a win, in my opinion. Again, have yours absolutely. In my opinion, I don't think it'll be enough for what Haney needs to do to get the level of at least respect on an even playing field when the ultimate matchup comes with Ryan Garcia. And even then, if let's say he does struggle after embracing the hate against Ramirez. And if I'm getting the fighter's name wrong, please excuse me. But in the fight for Ryan Garcia, let's say he does struggle, but wins. At that point in time, what's going to be the case? Then, now, not only the vitriol is going to be bad, but he's in his own mind. But how can I beat Ryan Garcia now? A more prepped and ready Ryan Garcia, a non-drinking, a now fully clean, fully dedicated, seemingly in his right mind now Ryan Garcia. When I struggled against this brother, who, again, credit, is incredibly powerful, is indeed strong. I believe Ramirez has been a champion. He is indeed a great fighter. But regardless of which, you struggle against him, now you go against Ryan Garcia next, which is going to be the next fight. Oh, it can be bad. It can get very, very volatile. And all of that is why I don't think this brother really is prepared. He's got to show me. But at this point in time, as much as we want to say, yes, you can do it. Ooh, there's some real big hills to climb to make me truly have faith in it. Because right now, I'm bad. I'm part of the Tank Coalition. You're a big enemy. See, no, hold on. No, wait a minute. We weren't even talking about, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Hold on. We weren't even talking about Tank. Wait a second. We weren't even talking about Tank Davis. Tank wasn't even on the docket for today. Again, I'm glad you support him. I want to see him fight well, and I want to see him win. Love to see him produce. I just want to see him fight Lamont Roach and just go and face off against everybody else and be successful. That's all. That's the only thing I'm asking for. Prove and help me validate my opinion of who you are as a boxer. That's it. Ain't no hate. I've never not praised him when he doesn't deserve praise. I love him. I just got to see him produce at the level of his incredible talent. Against the level of his incredible talent. That's all. That's the only thing. That's on it. Can't run from the smoke. That's what Tank is going to fight Jake Paul at 190, and you'll enjoy every second. Well, I won't. Well, excuse me. I didn't enjoy Jake Paul versus Tyson. I enjoy Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. If you think I'm going to enjoy Jake Paul, you got another thing coming. You have a whole nother thing coming. We've already spoken on that. I despise that, but all my heart and soul. You know something? Even the whooping role he took changed his smack talking too. Now it's not as interesting when they both are quiet. Actually. Oh, you're right about that. Rolly hasn't been talking the same, has he? Shoot. My gosh. Rolly really hasn't been talking the same. Rolly really has not been talking to that. Shoot. You ain't wrong. You're not wrong. My gosh, that loss really did change the butter. That loss really did change it. It got to be the KO. I agree with you. If Devin Haney schools Ryan in the rematch, the Austrian test gains even more credibility from the first fight as to why he lost. And I'm completely fine with that. I am absolutely fine with that. No question. Again, I've already said and acknowledged Ryan Garcia cheated. There is no grounds for anything else except for he did cheat. No question. And if he wins, adds further credibility to, hey, brother, you were enhanced. That's the only reason why you got him. And that bodes true. I have no problem with it. But at the same time, if we see this happen and it's the same, if not worse, type of outcome, and the same problems that we saw in the last fight happen again, if he even gets to Ryan Garcia, because again, he got to beat Ramirez. And it can be bad. It can be bad. But if Ryan puts that beating on him again, see, it's gonna be again, that's gonna be a bigger achievement for his starter. Absolutely. And see, Ryan gotta stay out the PEDs. Two, don't need excuses if he loses again. It definitely has to be a stop or KO. Now, I think we've had this conversation before. It could be that Devin Haney gets dominated and still goes all 12. Because he does have heart, like I announced before. He ain't got a chin. He'll get touched. But he'll get back up. But if we can see Ryan Garcia definitively put that brother down cleanly, no drugs or anything afterwards. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. Let me just unban that brother from being able to not fight for a title anymore. Because mind you, he got banned from being able to fight for championships after the PED debacle. But if he does this cleanly against Devin Haney, belt commission, they'll turn it over in a heartbeat. They'll say, yeah, come through. Go ahead. You showed that you clean and you showed that you great. Come fight for one of our titles. I'll guarantee you they'll lift it if that indeed does happen. I think Barbosa's gonna put, Barbosa's gonna put the beating on Portillo, who hasn't been hungry since Kambosos win. That's actually a great segue for our next topic. Teofimo Lopez versus Barbosa. Or Barbosa. Is it Barbosa? Is it Barbosas? I think Barbosas. Excuse me. Apologize for getting it wrong. I don't think so. I think we're going to see Teo have a great performance. For me, genuinely, I do. But hold on, before I get into the thing, the real question is, can Ryan Garcia win off the illegal stuff? Absolutely. That is one of the big questions. Tank is the top guy in boxing, and Canelo's the top guy right now. Tank is still one of the top 5, but his stock has been greatly hurt. He's still one of the biggest stars in sport, though. Undeniable. Let's see. My grandma, my G-Mall used to bring, used to say, bring your fans or bring your friends. I tell you who you are. So why is Haney gonna be in Diddy parties and next snack guy, but accusing Ryan Garcia? Oh, so you're saying okay? So you're saying the people around him and the places that he goes, all of them tell who Devin Haney is. Maybe so. Maybe true. And again, Victor Conte, other people have more information on him. It's also been incredibly shady and all this stuff with Snack and others. Been through the history of drugs in boxing. It's been one of the bigger, we'll say, underhanded people in the sport as a whole. So it can be, shoot, the comment speaks for itself, honestly. It'll show you who you are. It will show you who you are. Snack guy's known for cheating and been charged for cheating. Yeah, he has. Absolutely. Haney's side, along with Crawford and all the other fighters. And again, sadly, I'm not nearly as informed as I need to be on the true depths of what Victor Conte and them have done. But others have. Please research for yourself. Victor Conte has had a lot of shady ties in the world of boxing as a whole. So please, do your research. That snack, all of it. Do your research absolutely to find out more. I sadly can't give you everything because I don't know everything. But what I do know, there is some level of, we'll say, trepidation when it comes to the world of snack and the supplements under Victor Conte that Devin, Haney, and others do use. That's a whole other conversation, however. At least at this point in time. And crazy how Haney supported that boxing girl that busted for PEDs, yet they supported, hold on, am I reading it? Crazy how Haney supported that boxing girl that busted for PEDs, yet they supported her in the end. Yeah, it is crazy. Again, you got a lot of contradictions in the world of boxing. Let's not front with that. But before we continue, again, we got research on Victor Conte for yourself. Absolutely. Find out the information. Again, take whatever I say with a grain of salt. Take whatever other people say with a grain of salt. Find out the proper information for yourself from reputable sources to fully tell the story of whether or not this is indeed a problem with Victor Conte, with Snack, and everybody who's on Snack as a whole. Again, I can't say everything only because I don't know everything. And we try to be as reputable as possible. So if I don't know something as much as I need to, I always say, disclaimer. Disclaimer. No question about it. Be prepared to go and find out everything you need from reputable sources for yourself, absolutely, to be as informed as possible. And I'll do the same as well. But again, we still got more to show. We still got more to talk about on the show. Like with, again, Teofimo Lopez. Real quick, we can't let that just slide, can we? We brought it up. We got to talk about it. Let's discuss it. Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. now is, with all the antics that he's done, bringing a Buster Sword out on stage. Butter looks back to, the old Teo that we knew. Talking his talk, walking his walk, looking to be, again, the best that he can be. Now, when we look at the landscape of boxing as a whole from Teo and his career, had a lot of ups and downs. Somebody brought it that he hasn't been driven since the Kambosos loss. I beg to differ. When he fought Catterall, and then you can go either way when it comes to whether he was motivated against Claggett or not. After Kambosos, and once he turned back into the Gordo Lopez, once he turned into the former, again, takeover version that we knew of him in the past. Again, he struggled against Sandor Martin after Kambosos. Looked very bad. Looked like, I thought he lost against Sandor Martin. And looked very much so like Teofimo Lopez was about to be, the takeover was done. But now, ever since after that fight, when he fought Jack Catterall, when he fought Claggett, now going up and fight Arnold Barboza, looks to be, at least in my estimation, from a talent perspective, he's back to where we saw him from the standpoint of this brother is one of the best talented boxers in the sport. One of the most well-rounded in the division as a whole. From power to speed to stamina to technical ability. With that being said, this is going to be one of the biggest tests to prove whether that's valid or not against Barboza. Because the expectation now, remember, we covered this about months ago. Now he's training with is it Eddie Reynoso? Is it Eddie Reynoso or Robert Garcia? I believe the same brother that trains Canelo Alvarez. I believe he's training under that same umbrella now, away from his father. Still his father's in the corner, but training not from just under his dad, but now under, I believe, Eddie Reynoso. If I have that correct, if I'm wrong, please tell me. Absolutely. But I believe it's Eddie Reynoso. Now he's training under. It's training under. Same brother who trained. Yeah, okay, yeah, so it is Eddie. Yeah, so it's Eddie Reynoso. Same brother who went and fought against the likes of, or training, Canelo Alvarez. If we see this bold true, again, this is going to be the first instance of that pairing in its full and total potential glory. This brother could turn out to be a completely different monster with that type of backing and his innate talent. or in his innate talent that he already has in his arsenal, coupled with a trainer who's been at the mountaintop and trained with some of the best in the world, turned them into the best in the world, or one of the best at this point in time. Like, I don't think it's going to be that Barboza. I'm not going to say he won't give a good fight. No. But I think this is going to be a real showcase of like the next evolution in this whole Tio saga. Let's see. Yeah, but his dad is going to be the main trainer. He said, okay, even still, that still is not bad at all. Training under Eddie, his dad's still going to be the main guy. You don't lose what got you to the dance. And now you've added championship level training on top of it. New skills, new tactics, new tendencies that can favor you in your strengths. And what we know, and Barboza's bigger than Kambosos and stronger. So watch out. Again, I'm not overlooking Barboza. No, I'm not. Trust me. I am not. I wholeheartedly am. After Sandor Martin, especially after Kambosos, never overlooking people from the standpoint of, hey, anybody can give you one for your money. Absolutely. But at the same time, we have to understand that with this potential dynamic duo that they have with Reynoso's and Tio's trainer, I'm speculating. Again, all this is speculative. I think we're going to see Tio evolve into a better monster, utilize power even more, while still keeping all the slickness of the Gordo title that him and his dad put on him as the, hey, this is the real Tio. And I think it's going to be, hey, Barbosa's going to give him a test, no question about it. Absolutely. But it's going to be a showcase of what this new Tio is going to be and what this new Tio can be as a bigger threat in this division than he already is seen as right now. I think, again, I could be wrong, no question, but that's what I believe. That's what I really believe. Come May, in New York, with some of the biggest scrutiny that could potentially surround him, brother, I think this will be a showcase of some of Tio's best work. Could I be jumping the gun? Maybe so. No question. But it's hard for me to say, understanding what I see in Tio now, that with this new added pairing of Reynoso's and with what we speculate is going to be some tactics from Canelo and other boxers that can, in fact, help bolster the talent of Tio himself and accentuate some of the best parts of Tio's physical capabilities. I think it's going to be good. At least for me. I think it's going to be really good. Barbosa has no chance against Tio. Tio slapped him like a girl. And well, I think he attempted to slap. I don't know if he actually touched him. I could be wrong. Maybe they had another face-to-face. And potentially so. But the fact of the matter is, I don't underestimate Barbosa. But at the same time, I think expect greatness to come out of the regime of Tio and this newfound tandem with him, his dad, and Eddie Reynoso's all fine-tuning and essentially accentuating new parts of Teofimo Lopez. And I'm excited to see it. Absolutely. That's exactly what I've been saying. Tio has been slapping his opponents in the past few fights because he lost his hunger and power. Oh, wait, excuse me. Hold on. That's exactly what I've been saying. Tio has been slapping his opponents the past few fights because he lost his hunger or power. Now, I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking that because now he's being more eccentric, that he is more driven than we've seen in the past when he was questioning on the ropes, do I still got it? But again, either way, we're going to find out. That's the biggest thing. I'm thinking that all this stuff is showing Tio isn't he ready. You may think that he's doing all this because he is nowhere close to where he needs to be. Lost his hunger, lost his fire? Maybe so. We're going to find out. This whole year has been, you're going to find out what's the real and what ain't the real. We've been experiencing this all year. I promise you, we're going to find out which one's true or not. And regardless of whichever one is true, shoot, we're going to talk about it. I can say that. We can speculate the kingdom come. But we're going to find out whether all this stuff is really because he lost the hunger or because he got his hunger back. Whatever the case may be, brother, it's time to see and show up and show me what you got. And that's all I'm excited for. T.O. lost to Sandor Martin, and that's facts. I agree with you, no question. I thought he lost to Martin, no question at all in my mind. I will say fighters like Plant Porter, Nonito Donaire, Andre, Devin, Haney, Barrios, Marky Garcia, Danny Jacobs, Berto, Zab, all have been with Snack and do get beat. Bam and Butter, the two standouts on Snack in the program right now. And again, off of Snack, I'm not as knowledgeable in. Again, full disclaimer, all of them, as I know, are great. Most of them are still great, if not, Judah, Jacobs, I think Berto, Mikey retired, so I completely understand that. But regardless of which, and I think you need to donate, might be on the downtrend, but regardless of which, again, they've all been performing. Will they keep on performing? We don't know. Honestly, we don't know. And again, with Stack, I am not as knowledgeable as others on the topic. So please, research for yourself, no question. Sandor can catch a break on the cards because I thought he edged out T.O. and Puello. See, and he lost against Puello too. I'm telling you, the brother is a good fighter. And every time I think he's going to edge it out, he doesn't edge it out. He doesn't get, it sucks. I'm sorry. It is. I feel bad for Sandor. Because he be doing everything that you would think needs to be done from a boxing standpoint to get the win. And it doesn't, it's like, maybe he just needs to bulk up. Just get big. Stand and trade. Take a little bit of Sugar John in your arsenal. And then go and maybe add some weight, add some power. Oh boy. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what else he needs to do to win. Be very honest. And so you like Mule same way. Okay, see, some people agree, some people don't. But again, when it comes to the world of T.O., strictly with T.O., I think we're going to see a phenomenal performance, and I'm excited to witness what's going to transpire. But now we still got to go into the next hour of the show, which is the fact of Benavidez and Bivol. Hey, hold now. Wait a minute. Hold. It's on the way. It's on the way. Seemingly the world of boxing is going to get another mega fight. And what we thought would have been a trilogy between the likes of Bivol and Benavidez, now it looks to be 1-1. We'll return at a later date because Bivol and Benavidez are looking to potentially happen come this year. Negotiations are already close to being finalized, to having, hey, we both agree we'll fight each other for the Undisputed Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. And now that that's happening, who is in fact going to front it? And we now have word that Turkey Al-Sheikh said he's not going to bid on the fight. Now, for many people, that has this type of connotation.
Hey, look at this! We got some problems here!
That's a problem.
We got some problems
For many people, that's a problem. All of a sudden, Turkey saying he's not going to invest in this fight. He's not going to go and bid on this fight. Somebody else can, but he's bowing out. But the fight is still close individually between the two to be like, yeah, we'll make it happen. And fans are excited and thirsty for the fight. They want that fight. We've been saying if we don't get a trilogy, that's the only fight that needs to happen. And lo and behold, my gosh, David Benavidez, after being announced as a mandatory, actually is getting his mandatory shot. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Are we serious here? We never thought we'd see today. Between the eras of Canelo and him being mandatory for 3 years and never actually getting a fully announced and negotiating table shot of let's make the fight. Next thing you know, the brother beats Morrell, the undisputed fight happens, and then boom, you're the number one contender. Well, if we ain't getting the trilogy, okay, you get your shot in less than a year. Shoot, in less than a couple months. Phenomenal. We love it. We need it. This is great for the sport and specifically for David Benavidez. Now that that's here, though, one of the biggest concerns is, will that fight actually take place under Turkey Al-Sheikh, and who's actually going to put up the money for it? And if anything, there is no business for anybody else not to be able to do exactly what Turkey's been doing, which is put on quality fights. See, I think one of the biggest problems that we've seen with Turkey Al-Sheikh under the regime of him and having all these mega fights going on, there was an expectation now that got set that this brother was just going to give us all the fights that we want. Everything that we can expect to happen within the last year or two. Look, he'll put it up. He'll make it happen. He'll throw money at him. like I said, in this whole plan for what Turkey was doing, creating appetite for fans, both abroad and specifically in his own country, and then branch out with mega events across the different meccas of the sports world. He did Dubois versus Joshua in the Wembley Stadium. He's doing Terrence Crawford versus Canelo in the U.S. This whole Fatal Fury card is happening in the Mecca of Times Square in New York City for the free public to witness without having to pay a dime. This is part of the process of building a conglomerate to where you are the main thing. We're talking about Dana White and all them joining forces. Great. Phenomenal. Discuss that. But now that set a precedent where everybody only feels that he's going to be the only one that makes this fight happen. Now that he's bowing out, some people are saying, oh my, oh no, what are you doing? But in actuality, he should not be the only one that's responsible for making this sport as great as it needs to be. It should be the PBC that goes and tries to make this happen. It shouldn't be shoot. Maybe Top Rank puts on a bid, hey, let's put this under our promotion. Whatever other promotion needs to happen, they can make this fight happen. They should go and make this fight happen now that we see that there is an opening for a mega event that the biggest op that you have as a promoter has chosen to say, I'm not touching this one. Brother, if you are a promoter, you would be a fool not to place a bid and get this fight on your card. Because I promise you, there is no reason that this should not happen under, if anything, under the PBC, if we see Al Heyman indeed take advantage of this. There shouldn't be any other reason. It makes the most sense. And in all honesty, it shouldn't be the expectation. It's only for Turkey to put on these big fights. And it should be you, the whole as the public. Anybody can still put on these mega events if they so chose to actually spend the dough. Take advantage of the opportunity, please. Because then don't complain that somebody's coming to take the sport away from you. Don't complain that we have an issue. That, we're getting iced out by this one man. And then when there's a fight that should be made and you could put it under your promotion and you opt not to because you don't want to spend the money, because you think, we can build this up a little more. You go back and do the same practices that we've seen in the past done that made us all hate the sport because promoters wouldn't give us what we wanted when we wanted it. If you go back to that type of mentality, you have no excuse to say anything about what Turkey is doing in the world of boxing. And again, I'm not trying to ride for Turkey. I'm being real. I don't care whether it's Top Rank, PBC, Matchroom, Queensberry, don't matter to me. BLK Prime, I don't care. If there's an opportunity to get a mega fight to satisfy the boxing public, you do it. And if your biggest op then says, hey, we're off, and you still don't take the opportunity, now that further validates why one commission, one belt, one person over the whole sport would be a lot better. Because if we leave it up to the whole to try to make the decision, nothing would get done. Nothing did get done for over a decade plus. And when it comes to the fight specifically, this is where stuff gets interesting. Because now, didn't I tell you all that this was a possibility of how we can still get Canelo versus Benavidez? It would have to be this road. Benavidez wins the undisputed title. And now it's against the most favorable matchup, which is Bivol. Now, when I say favorable, I mean if there was a fight that was going to take place, and I would say if Benavidez had the best shot to win, it would be against Bivol, not Benavidez. No, absolutely. Benavidez, if Benavidez fought Benavidez, I wouldn't give him a shot. But if Benavidez fights Bivol, now we got to the conversation. Now we do. And this is a situation where if he can pull this out, they've sparred before. They fought before when Benavidez was coming up in the world of boxing. When Bivol was the champion. Not undisputed champion, but still a champion. And now, like we're looking and we're saying, hey, brother, Bivol was saying, yo, he gave me some good work. He's bigger than me. He's stronger than me. This man is like he's gonna be the truth. And Benavidez has been in the ring and knows what it's like to be with the tactical technician. That is Bivol. Now we understand that he's better than he's ever been from a technical standpoint. And still has those same advantages that he fought against Bivol all those years ago when he was still at 168. Now, at 175, he's not as powerful as the likes of Benavidez. No question. None whatsoever. But he can make up for it with volume. And that's going to be the biggest crux of it all. The volume. Because mind you, the volume is what beat Benavidez on Bivol's side, upping his volume. But now going up against Benavidez, you're dealing with even more volume than you've ever dealt with the likes of Benavidez. And the power at minimum is at least respectable. I'm not saying it's going to rock you or hurt you. But there was a reason that we saw Morrell and others shell up when we saw Benavidez start going to work. Not because his power was just overwhelming, but it was enough to be like, okay, all right, we gotta mitigate this storm in some capacity. We gotta have a little bit of respect at minimum, along with the amount of volume that's coming our way. It's a volley. That's what Benavidez is going to bring when we see him fight against Bivol. And that's where the rubber's going to meet the road. Because Benavidez, I believe, is going to be able to cut off the ring. I believe Benavidez is going to be able to make Bivol have to operate similar in a similar vein to what we saw Benavidez make Bivol operate, which is you got to face me. You're not going to be able to outmaneuver me. Not going to be able to use the ring as a whole to your advantage. You're going to have to go and we're going to have to tango. And now that Bivol has faced off against Benavidez, he feels and knows, okay, yeah, I can do this. Absolutely, and he can. But it's also, again, you're going into the wheelhouse of Benavidez. And this is where that offensive onslaught that is more copious than Benavidez, though it's not more destructive, that could be, worst comes to worst, that just makes for an entertaining fight outright. Best case scenario, we see Benavidez potentially outwork the likes of Bivol if he's able to mitigate the boxing and turn this into a fight, which is what Benavidez was able to make Bivol go into, which was a fight. And in a fight, they're 1-1 against Benavidez, who is now the taller, longer opponent. Though indeed, again, Bivol is Bivol. This could be incredibly entertaining. Oh, there is a way that we can see Benavidez beat Bivol. We'll break it down later on. I would love to hear your thoughts. But there is a way that this fight can go into Benavidez's favor. And we then see Benavidez force Canelo to have to go and step up at 175. Because now, just like with Benavidez, or just like with Bivol, when Benavidez beat Bivol, Canelo was silent. Only talking about Bivol. If Benavidez beats Bivol, now, what excuse is there for you to go and fight him? If you still want to fight at 175 and get the undisputed title, the one thing that you didn't get when you moved up the second time when you wanted to chase greatness. And if you're going to be about that life all the way through. If not, speaks to what you think about what Benavidez as a threat to you really is. This is going to be incredibly interesting. Let's see what people have to say on the matter. Where we say, okay, Canelo fans are hoping Bivol wins and Canelo haters want the Mexican Monster to win. Reminds me of Cowboys jumping on the bandwagon of Washington Commanders because the old coach is on the squad. It's somewhat, like, somewhat. It's. I'm telling you. It's eerily similar because the dichotomies of what they want to favor their personal agendas and their personal standpoints. It can get ugly. can definitely get it. We've seen Bivol get tired in later rounds, yet also we've seen Benavidez on the canvas drop by nobody. Mind you, we saw Canelo get rocked by Miguel Cotto's brother. Let's not forget that. But that didn't negate what his greatness was and what he evolved into. Benavidez then wasn't the Benavidez that we've seen now. Absolutely. And you also got to understand, he got rocked against Morrell once or twice if you want to talk about the second time when the punch came after the bell, well after the bell. But at the same vein, Bivol isn't nearly as powerful as Morrell or Benavidez, or Benavidez, excuse me. And Benavidez, his defense has been phenomenal. To be able to mitigate himself to only get caught once by heavy hitters, at most twice, and still dominate in the same capacity. So don't let the early knockdown in their career negate what they are as a dominant fighter now, because they're not the same. At that point in time, and this point in time, they're not the same at all. Bivol will outpoint Canelo. Benavidez and Benavidez will try to smash Canelo. They will. They'll take it to him. They will take it to him. That's why we want to see it. That's why we want to see it. Benavidez would kill Canelo. I've said that multiple times. With the style that Canelo fights now, Benavidez would kill him. Benavidez would destroy him. If they ever fought, he would knock him out. I am so confident in that. Benavidez would knock out Canelo if they ever fought. Benavidez, I think at this stage in career, I think would beat him. Because Canelo is trying to wait out Benavidez. And Benavidez has only gotten better and better with time. And we said 2 years ago, this was a 50-50 fight between Canelo and Benavidez. But if he keeps on waiting, more and more, we're going to see that pendulum start to sway on the side of Benavidez, because he's only getting better. And Canelo is still on a slight decline, though he's still a pound-for-pound fighter. There is a monicum of real concern for all Canelo fans out there that you waited to fight him too long. And there is a legitimate possibility that, Canelo, he can get beat by Benavidez now more than ever before, if they ever fought. I'm assured of that. Okay, you waiting him out? Yeah, I told you that. Okay, excuse me. Sorry, you did tell me that part. So you did let me know. But he did knock out Canelo's brother. Yeah, he did. You did inform me. I'm happy. I'm excited. Thank you so much. Again, we teach each other. I don't know everything. Y'all know stuff I don't. Absolutely teach me and help me understand certain things about this world. I'm not perfect. I ain't trying to be. Absolutely. I ain't trying to be at all. So yeah, you put me on to that knowledge. No question about it. And so, but you also got to understand, it still bodes true. We don't look at Canelo then like now and saying, oh, he got rocked. He can never beat. Because he showed what he could be when he fought against Kovalev at 175. When he moved up to 160, to 168, to 175, 165, a second time. So it's like Canelo can get beat. And this is the opportunity to where we are almost where we need to be to see him get the fight that he has been avoiding all these years. There is no reason that he needs to be running from this type of test. This fight should have been happened. But now it could happen in Dave Benavidez's own backyard. Well, we all know Canelo isn't the best at when he gets to 175 at this stage in his career. But he's going to be forced to get there. Again, because Benavidez has been fighting on his own terms, he has been able to play out a road to where now he can control the cards that Canelo has no way to get out of. Because at that point in time, I beat the man that beat you. You got to run through me. Because I've always been your biggest op. I just showed it against somebody that you got dominated against. You want to fight me? Show that you about it. And come up here where you said you wanted to be all those years ago against the same brother, against the same opponent in Bivol. Come do it. Back him into a corner and force him to do what he needs to do. Absolutely. And let's see. Gotta go. Hey, I'll see you Thursday. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you showing up for the show. I appreciate it so much. Thank you all for coming out. And again, We get ready to transition into the championship round. Let's see what these people have to say. I agree. At 175, David would wash Canelo at this point. If David could somehow make 168, Canelo gets some because of weight drain. And somehow it would have to be an incredible type of weight. Incredible type of weight, an incredible weight cut. No question. At this stage right now. They could even do a catch weight at 170. Any way, shape, or form that this happens, it's going to be that Canelo is at a disadvantage because of age and because of the evolution of David Benavidez. And now we see that Benavidez is indeed the truth. It's no longer just a hypothetical. He's run through everybody that he needs to run through. He's faced off against opposition when they wanted him. He took the initiatives that Canelo never took. And he's on the cusp of fighting against somebody who is, at this point in time, at this weight class, is the controller of Canelo. And if he pulls this off, like I said a year ago, or 8 months ago, somewhere around there, a long time ago, that Benavidez is going to be in a position to force Canelo out, smoke him out. He's going to be able to do it because there will be no other place that Canelo can run to. There is no other opposition at 168. There is no other opposition at 160. There is nobody that wants to see Bivol versus Canelo again, especially now that if we see Benavidez beat Bivol, that Bivol wouldn't have a belt and Canelo would still want him. That's a problem. Not that that's a problem, because I get it. You want to get your get back. But again, you wanted the title. That was your biggest thing. You wanted the title. And you handpicked Bivol because you thought you would be able to beat him. Because notice, you didn't try to fight Benavidez after he got the title. You never tried to fight him. Never even called him, never sniffed his name. When he was also champion at the division. Never sniffed his name. And you've been avoiding Benavidez for who knows how long. Now he's at a point where he can, if he pulls this off, force you to do what you have never wanted to do. Because the public will be asking for it. The money will be too good to pass up. And your reputation at that point in time would be solely contingent on whether or not you took that fight when it was aptly available. Where you've always said you wanted to fight to get your get back for all those years ago. You don't take it at that point, hey, speaks to your true colors. Your actions show who you are, like JB said earlier on. And so it can be a problem. It can definitely be a problem. I got one more. Albert, is it called weight drain or is it called weight bully? If David Benavidez was always bigger than his opponents in every division, and Canelo's always been a smaller guy in his division. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's actually really good. That's a really good question. Hold on. Have you all got any comment on him? Let's see. Canelo put him on a 1 pound rehydration clause. Let's see. Berlanga was almost 200 pounds walking in the ring to fight Canelo. I'm not big on the weight bully stuff. If you can make weight and don't violate any rules, then it's all fair to me. See, so let's circle back around to Devin Haney, because I think this speaks to a good point. Devin Haney was a weight bully, but at the same time, he was the best in the division. But he fought. Shoot. Shakur does it. Benavidez did it. Devin Haney did it and got exposed for it because he got demolished when somebody fought him head on that fit his weight. So I think let me think. I want to make sure I get my words right. Now Shakur looked huge against the now granted, Padley was a completely different level of talent from the standpoint of brought in short notice. Probably hadn't, Like that I don't hold that fight in terms of how they looked as a big thing, because Shakur has always been big. And we've seen this multiple times with fighters who have been big for their division, like just size-wise. Even if they weigh the same, some people just look bigger than they are. And the electrician still may weight. And so I wouldn't use that example specifically, because training and all that stuff may not be able to put that weight and turn it into the muscle that he wanted to. And plus, just as a legal fighter wasn't all that we understand. But on the whole, with fighters that have been weight bullies versus fighters that always weight drain people, which one's valid and which one's isn't, depending on the situation? I mean, honestly, to be perfectly honest, we've seen this happen over the years, multiple times, have we not? With people coming in overweight, or people consistently holding people underweight, either controlling the situation or using the situation to their advantage to be as big as they can be, or hold people to be as small as they can be. We talk about Tank using weight clauses for all this stuff for people fighting not above their weight. But then he brought up somebody from 130. This is tough. This is, hey, look, Valera's calling me. I'll come back to the rest of the show. Look, come back. That just might have to be a whole topic in and of itself. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good question. J Riggs, I'll applaud you. That's a really good question. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good question. We might have to do. I might just have to do this on Thursday. I kid you not. I might have to just do this on Thursday. I gotta think about that. I really gotta think about it, because I may say something wrong on this show, and then go and come find out. Okay, it's something different. I gotta think. A weight bully versus weight draining. Is it wrong for somebody to do it in one capacity and okay for somebody else to do it? If Devin Benavidez was a weight bully at 168, but was accepted, and then Devin Haney was seen as a weight bully, but then was vilified, what's the difference in the two? That's a really good question. I may just hold this. That's a good title. I may just hold this. We may just have to pick this up on Thursday, because we still got to go through the championship rounds. But my gosh, that is a good question. Oh shoot. Let me write that down. Let me write that down, so I can have this for Thursday. When is it okay and not okay? I never thought about that. I'll see you Thursday, absolutely. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit here, and then we'll discuss it later on, probably on Thursday. I'm almost sure. That's a good topic. But I'll catch you later. Again, appreciate you for tuning in, absolutely, and coming in on the show. No question about that. No question. We got other people commenting also. Hold on. Let's go through. Let's get through everybody. Let's not forget Josh Padley made weight a couple days. He was in shape and ready. Also, he was ranked higher than the Kid Austin in the WBC fight. Yeah, he was. We give him credit. He was, absolutely. And so, but that's a really good question. What is a weight bully okay and not okay? And what makes the difference between the two? If we can accept Benavidez, though he was always coming up big in the ring, versus when we talk about Devin Haney, or even Tank holding people back from getting in the weight and demeaning his rehydration clauses. That's a good topic. That's a really good topic. So do we have a rematch? Gervonta versus Welch? At this point in time, nothing's been said. We're still waiting on an official announcement. Tank in a press conference said, in all honesty, that rematch may not come next. We don't know what Tank's plan is. The only thing that we know about Tank is that that fight with Roach made him reevaluate wanting to retire this year. So we could be getting more Gervonta Davis. Hey, great, phenomenal. Cool. But with that also being said, when will this rematch happen? We don't know. This is a similar thing with Isaac Cruz. When Isaac Cruz gave him a great fight, and it could have been, hey, give him a rematch. Let's see what you got. Healed hand, let's see what you can do. And then he never gave it to him. This may be following in those same types of lines. Though that's the biggest thing that the public wants to see. And if you want to talk about a business move, that would make all the business sense in the world to get a rematch for that fight. No question. Because the vast public, a lot of them feel, I'm talking with Tank fans outside in the world, and they're saying, yeah, he lost that fight. They're telling me he lost that fight. And these people love Tank. And so yeah. It would make all the sense to make the rematch, but will the rematch happen? That's where the concern comes in. Because Tank he's been skirting around, will it happen immediately? And we don't know what his plan is going to be. Because again, he does still hold all the cards in this scenario. So at this point in time, no. Do we want it? Absolutely. Does it make sense? No question. Should it happen next? Absolutely. Should it happen this year? No question. Will it? That's where the behind the scenes stuff really can be muddy and bad. And potentially we don't get. So it's I hate it, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't believe in weight bullying, so no opinion. And so it's understandable. Do you have the Undisputed Game? I'm buying it this week. Let's box. Now, see, I have a so we have some bad news for those of you in the video game landscape. I love video games, but I have not gotten myself a PS5. Now I know. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? We got a problem. How dare I get it before you jump on me? My gosh, being smart with my money, saving it up, trying to be, be apropos to be able to not just spend it frivolously. Do I want a PS5 or Xbox One, whichever one? I'm probably gonna get a PS5, most likely. Yes, no question. Am I gonna get it? Yes, absolutely. Why do you think I'm doing this show? But no, in all seriousness, it's coming. Okay, it's coming. When it comes, and when I get it, I'm gonna tell you, that's gonna be one of the first games I buy. And we're gonna box. No question. I win Fight Night Champions to the ground. I win Fight Night Round 2 to the ground. Also, WWE fan, NBA 2K, Madden, which I've kind of fallen off on. Shadow of War for my more so single player gamers out there. Love that game. Absolutely. And again, I got Dragon Ball Fighters. Want to get the new Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I got a lot of games I'm gonna get. Oh, course, no question about it. But I gotta be smart. Gotta be smart with my money. Hey. If y'all want to pitch in, I gotta put out the Cash App thing. Doggone it, some people said they wanted to give to the show. We trying to get to this point we can get super chats, but at this point in time, we ain't got enough watch time. But those of you who are tuning in right now, hey, y'all are helping this out. Absolutely. When we get there, oh yeah, I can't wait to see what your super chats are going to be. I can't wait to see what I can do with super chats. I think I can make it personalized and make it all special and stuff. Hey, I'll take time. You see this banner. We do the best that we can here. We're going to do the best for everything. We're going to make this high quality as possible. Make it, if you are going to give to this show, make it worth your while. That's what we're going to do. But regardless of which, I got to get that out there. But hey, when we get there, oh, absolutely. It's going to expedite the process. But gotta be smart with it. I know it's been 4 or 5 years. Of course, I want it. I'm a big gamer. I'm gonna get it soon. No question. Just gotta be patient. And when I do, everybody's getting work. You hear me? All of y'all getting busted. All of y'all see me with Joe Frazier. See me with the likes of Floyd Patterson. Huh? Sure, Julio Cesar Chavez. See me. Big Bang Jang. I'm with it all. Who wants to work? We gonna give y'all the work. Absolutely. Yeah. Get ready, because when I pull through, You ain't gonna be able to spam that right hand like you used to be able to do in fight. In fact, shoot, forget all this stuff. We going to the championship rounds right now. Let's talk. Let's get the smack talk going. Doggone it, it's the championship rounds. Make the show your own. Say whatever the word you want to say, whatever topics you want to discuss. We're in it now. We got 30 minutes to an hour. Make the show your own. Whether it's wrestling, NBA, NFL, boxing, movies, video games, sports, don't matter to me. If I can talk about it, we'll talk about it. Absolutely. But let's get some smack talk going, shall we? Y'all don't want to see me. Yeah, I'm pulling that card like I see all these other streamers and gamers do. Yeah, y'all don't want to see me in this because you got to actually box in Undisputed. Yeah, it's got some bugs. I've been keeping up with it since it came out. It's got some bugs. It's got some problems. It's got some issues. But at the same time, oh, brother, on the whole, when it ain't buggy, you can't be spamming it right here. They changed the stamina. They changed the power punches. They changed a lot of the game to make it a lot smoother. Oh, when I get there, oh, buddy. Oh, y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for this. It's going to be, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to be coming forward. I'm going to be slipping. We're going downstairs to the body, and we're going to put in some work. I may lose, absolutely. But don't rematch me. Don't rematch me. You may get me, but don't rematch. If you rematch me, oh gosh. No, it's going to be up. I'm like Smoking Joe. I start out slow, but brother, once I get going, once I get bobbing and once I get my rhythm going, oh gosh, oh it's on and popping, baby. We're gonna be exciting and technical. It's gonna be a war. I'm excited for it all. Oh, I can't wait. Y'all don't want to see me in this. Oh, with the biggest repertoire of boxing talent in one video game. Most of them with their own styles, the footwork, the foot planning, the jab and stamina management that you got to do, the freedom of what's it called? When you press up on the D-pad, was it free footwork, something like that, where you can really go and kind of not just style on your opponent, but move around the ring more eloquently, have the more power in your shots. Oh, I can't wait for it. You can control your block whichever way you want it to go. 3 points up in the face, 3 points downstairs. The head movement and the weaving needs to be a little bit better, but outside of that, hey, it's on and popping. Oh, it's on and popping. I'm being there like Smoking Joe. I'm telling you, it's going to be thrill of the fight. Forget thrill of the fight, but it's going to be a thrill in Manila. Every fight with me is going to be a war. It's going to be a bomber. It's going to be you're going to be sweating. You're going to be like, oh my gosh. Win, lose, or draw, you're going to be like, I need a break. Win, lose, or draw. If you beat me, if I beat you, if we draw out right, brother, you're going to be saying, let me step away. We're gonna need some time. Because, brother, I am, I'm hot. I'm sweating. I'm perspiring. I'm going to have my own corner. Doggone it. I'm sorry. Thrill of the Fight is on VR. My bad. I forgot that was a game. I thought you were just talking about the Thrill of the Fight as the moniker. My bad. Excuse me. So sorry. Yes, it is on VR. I probably won't get the VR headset, but I will indeed still. If it's a fighting game, and I can afford it, most likely I'm gonna get it. And again, I'm not trying to say I'm the best thing since sliced bread. No, y'all will probably get me a couple times. Y'all will probably be, but it's gonna be war. Just know that. Just know that. I may lose. You may watch me. Whatever the case may be, it's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a war. We both gonna be saying, man, shoot. I need to take a month off. I need to recover. I'm having so that people are gonna be fighting like actual boxers. You get on this game and it's gonna be 3 fights a year, and then you gotta take 8 months of a break because to recover from all from the wars that you're going through. It's gonna be great. I can't wait for it. Absolutely, I can't wait. I'm excited. I can't win a fight on Undisputed for nothing. It's a learning curve. It's a major learning curve because I just got to play it. I think for like the first time on hand, one of my friends, because they got it. It's a steep learning curve. Cause you gotta actually box a little more. Yeah, not a lot more actually. So but I trust you. I believe you're gonna get it. We all gonna learn. We all gonna learn and get it right. Trust and believe. And when you do, you're gonna be a monster. And I'm gonna be a monster when I eventually get the hang of it. Oh, I can't wait till we fight. It's gonna be a phenomenal thing. Let's see. Facts, just put the catch up in your business. Oh, y'all actually want to give? Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm glad that y'all feel the need, or y'all feel the want rather, to want to support the show. Again, as we build, we'll be able to get super chats and all that stuff once we get watch time going. But until then, if y'all want cash up, I'll find a way to put it there. And I don't try to ask for money. I want this to be a living. We want sponsors and all that stuff. So y'all ain't got to pay a dime. Y'all just sit and watch and show your bodies. And then, excuse me, pause. Mega pause. Hold on. Mega pause. Outright pause. My goodness. Excuse me. Didn't mean it like that. But y'all come in and be a body in the stream. Show the anticipation, show the love, show the support and all that stuff. We'll grow, we'll learn, we'll adapt, and we'll get better and better, and we'll invest back into the show. No question about it. Absolutely. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And if y'all want to do it, I'll figure out a way to get it done. Absolutely. Who's the MVP, Jokic or SGA? Now this is incredibly interesting, and we got a lot of NBA action going on right now. And shoot, my gosh, we got a lot of people. Hold on, wait a minute, before I answer that question, let's see. Yo, JLW, do you remember me? Your old subscriber? I'm immigrant right now. Hold on, what is it? Sergey? Yo, brother, what's good with you? How you doing? Yo, how you been, man? How you been? Yeah, you were one of the early ones when I was coming in on the show. Hey, I appreciate it. I can't remember. I think you were before I was doing any live show. How you been? Hopefully you've been doing well. I'm glad you took some time out to come back through to the show. We've had a lot to talk about. My gosh, hopefully I'm doing you proud and keeping your subscription on the show. I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you tuned in. I'm glad you've been here. And for all the early support, it means the world to me genuinely. I do appreciate it. You're one of the biggest or bigger foundational points in this show because you're one of the first to come on it. So I appreciate it. When I had nothing, doggone it, when I was absolutely building up, you're one of the first to come through and be like, hey, this cat is worth subscribing to. Even I think this was before I was even able to get on live on it. So it's like you were just listening straight with nothing, no interaction at all from the standpoint of a chat or whatever. So again, I appreciate it. One of the OGs of this channel, we appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for being a long-time supporter. And please, if you haven't, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, share the show with everybody you know, and keep on being inside of this empire. Because again, we value everybody, and we really do appreciate you, Sergey, is it Sergey? I do want to say it right. I apologize if I say it wrong, but I do remember you, and I do appreciate you. Absolutely. You mean the world to me, and I'm so glad. I changed my account. Okay, I changed my account. That guy with unreading. Okay. So that's what, again, I'm still just glad that you're here. No question, I'm glad that you're here. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. It does my heart so well and good. And thank you so much for still supporting the channel all this time. We're growing and we're flourishing. It's all thanks to people like you and everybody else who's been on the show, tuning into the show, constantly liking and subscribing, and consistently sharing, and just all in all, making the show your own. You all help make this possible, and I appreciate you all very much. Y'all are the backbone of everything that this is. And I do, again, I'm humble, I'm gracious, grateful, and I know I'm nothing without y'all. All this, it's small, but all this is nothing without you all. It really isn't. And so you all make this worthwhile. You make this show what it is. And I greatly appreciate it. Absolutely. No question about it. But let me go back to Mule to see what you guys think. Who's the MVP, Jokic or SGA? I see, and this is where they split 1-1 when they played against each other this week. Jokic just beat OKC Thunder 140. Put up 140 and one of the best defenses, not just of today, but in the whole of the history of basketball, up until statistically. Jokic had like 30, what was it, 35 and 16? Jamal Murray had like 30. Luke Dort had, 8 threes, 9 threes in the game? I ain't never seen anybody shoot like that. Incredible. And then before that, SJ put up an historic 40-point game on the Nuggets. And so that one game did not decide who is indeed the MVP. Right now, though, I'm torn. I can't deny what SGA is doing. I also understand that SGA is not as much of a free throw line merchant as everybody may want him to be, though he does get to the line a lot. His skill set's undeniable. His integrity to this team is one of the biggest reasons why they are indeed where they are as a dominant unit. But I still can't get over the historic run that we're seeing Jokic on right now. I'm sorry. Any other year would probably be SGA playing like this with the best record in the NBA right now would most likely be MVP. But Jokic with the third or fourth seed carrying this squad that is nowhere close to the same level of outright talent that we're seeing from the OKC Thunder right now. And putting up, again, a 29-point triple-double on almost 60% from the field, nearly 50% from three. Second in the league in turnovers. Top 3 in rebounding. He is top 10 or leading or at least in top 5 in 6 different categories in the NBA right now as a center. And this is his best year in the history of Jokic's playing. And we've seen Jokic have a perfect 30-point triple-double. We've seen Jokic put up 45 and 15. We've seen Jokic dominate the Western Conference. We've seen Jokic win a championship and win MVP. We have seen Jokic be so great all these many years. And this is the best he has ever played. It is such that coupled with the standings and coupled with Jokic individually, I still got Jokic. I'm sorry. I can't not put Jokic at MVP for me. It is so incredible. Again, SGH averaging 36 and 5. Jokic is averaging 29, 11, and 10. That's stupid. Russell Westbrook put up a 30-point triple-double in that historic run first since we had seen Oscar Robertson do it all those years ago. Incredible history. And this man's doing it at a better rate than Westbrook could ever dream of. It's not. I always value individual play above the success of the team when it comes to MVP voting, because MVP is indeed, regardless of what you want to say about it, who's the best player in the world? Who's had the most impactful season? Individual. That's been my best gauge. Your individual talent and what you do is option number 1. Team record then becomes option number 2 in terms of grading scale for what deems you as MVP. Both of them are valuable, but my gosh, right now, Jokic is operating at such a high level. Like, it's preposterous. It's stupid. We have never seen something like this. We have never seen something like this. We have never seen something like this before. And we may never see this again. Jokic is like the gap between Jokic and SGA for best player in the world is night and day. It is night and day. It's not close. Jokic versus Giannis, it's not close. Jokic versus LeBron, it's not close. He is that much of there's that much of a gap between the two. But the individual success for a lot of people isn't weighed as heavily as your ranking in the standings. This should quell all that. Because they're still top 5 in the Western Conference and still putting up one of the best seasons we have ever seen in NBA history. Carrying a squad like we always vouch for other greats that have done. And even the gap between you and who is in line for MVP is monumental. From a player's standpoint, I can't have him not above SGA for my MVP. I got to have him. I got you. He's quickly turning into, shoot, this by the end of his career, this may mess around and be a top 10 player that we've ever seen. Jokic, he's on that much of he's already has one of the best runs and peaks that we've seen in basketball history. Already. this keeps up, brother, we're having different conversations potentially. I'm not gonna push. I'm not gonna jump the gun. But I'm gonna make sure that I'm not gonna jump the gun. I'm not gonna fire it off. But brother, I'm gonna have it at least on my desk because I need to be prepared. Because we're seeing something that is otherworldly. Otherworldly. I'm telling you, it's otherworldly. Yo, what's up, Justin Kemp? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the show. It is incredible. It is from Ethiopia. Excuse me, you from excuse me, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Tyson, it is Dustin Wynn from Ethiopia. Maybe so. But let's see. Joker is on that top 10 trajectory for sure. I'm telling you, he fits the bill right now for one of the greatest peaks that we have seen in basketball history. Up there with Kareem, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, even the likes of Wilt Chamberlain. He's up there in that same peak level of the best that we've ever seen, or the best of you that we've seen. He's already in that conversation. By the end of it, we could be looking at this man as legitimately one of the top 10 best players, at minimum top 15. Minimum top 15, if he keeps this up, that we've seen in basketball history. And this brother does not care. That's the crazy thing. He doesn't care at all. Jimmy Butler on Golden State, it is working. And I didn't think it was going to work. They shut me up. They shut me up. Golden State shut me up. This team was in the gutter. No direction. Everybody was saying Curry was wasting his prime. And he was on this squad. And all of a sudden, Jimmy Butler comes through and he plays like a man possessed. He's incredible. He's a perfect fit for this Warrior squad that we didn't think was going to be a fit at all. For a team that loves to shoot threes and spread the floor, Jimmy Butler, not being a shooter ever in his career, looked to be one of the worst fits that we have seen for a team. And all of a sudden, this man comes in just like he was doing in Minnesota, just like he did in Philly, turned the squad around into one of the better teams in basketball of recent in the second half of this season. Has completely changed the trajectory of this whole Warriors organization in the Western Conference. It's ridiculous. All of a sudden, they got new life. All of a sudden, they have an actual new foundation that they get a couple of the pieces, but the West better watch out. They're not going to win a championship. Almost highly unlikely. But this team is like they're looking to be a menace. And it's further proving the point of how great Jimmy Butler really is as a foundational piece for an organization. Took Miami to 2 finals. Carried that squad multiple times with what some people call a Jordan-esque Herculean effort. Incredible. Phenomenal. Ran into juggernauts at the end of the road and tired himself out. Now playing with Steph. If this team does what it needs to do within the next 3 years, everybody better watch out. Everybody better watch out because this could be a squad worth, dare I say, being afraid of. With Buddy Hield, with Steph, with Jimmy Butler. Again, with Kuminga, who has been up and down, absolutely. But all of a sudden, a lot of the role players that we said were just blasé and not worth the time, now all of a sudden playing like they know what they're doing. This is ridiculous in the best way. And I'm excited for it. Also, I'm scared. Because who knows what this could lead to. We already, also, you got to understand, there's also rumors that, not even rumors, I think it's almost been confirmed now. The Suns are going to move KD in the offseason. Trade him. There is a real possibility this man could end up back in, not just back on, excuse me, not OKC. He could end up back in a Warriors uniform if they do go that route. Because all it would take, KD doesn't want to play with Draymond Green. If you mean to tell me that to get KD, along with Jimmy Butler, along with Steph Curry, with how they've been clicking right now, is to trade Draymond Green away and get him off the roster, Warriors ain't stupid enough to where they wouldn't do that. Even with as great as Draymond Green has been to that organization. So there is a possibility that this could still be a road to essentially reconciliation between the Warriors and KD. It's possible. It could also be that KD goes to OKC if they choose to trade him. Because they got the assets to give them everything that they want in terms of the Suns and still be prepped for the future. If OKC wants to go that route and pair SGA with KD and Chet and Lou Dort and Williams and everybody else on that roster that looks to be insane, there is some real shakeup in the Western Conference that can come about. But strictly with the Warriors, there is a real concern that everybody needs to look and understand. There is a light at the end of the tunnel that the Warriors did not think they would find. There is a darkness that could potentially overshadow the rest of the league if they do indeed walk into that light. Be afraid. Be very afraid. And if you're a Golden State fan, strap in, because the ride's about to be incredible. Fatal Fury dropping, I heard about that they dropped a new virtual fighter. They are dropping a new virtual fighter. Yes, they are. Oh, yeah. They dropping a new virtual fighter. It's coming out, I think, later this year or I think early next year. I could be wrong. One of those things is dropping true. But again, the whole Fatal Fury dropping is based off of what they have with Chris Eubanks. That whole card or that whole situation. It's that one of the biggest launches for the game is going to be. Oh, excuse me. Also with New York as well. With New York with Champion Olympics. All this is a big marketing thing, not just for the fighters, but also for the game itself. You can make it a comeback, make it a resurgence. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. And the mechanics not only have gotten tweaked, but they got some new stuff that not only helps this game be a little more competitive, but also a little better in terms of the balancing, potentially. And if so, it's going to be incredible. And I'm excited to see it, no question. But, shoot, is there anything else y'all want to discuss about? Any other topics? Any other questions? Any other concerns? Views on movies? Movies. Real quick. I kept saying I was going to touch on Captain America, Brave New World, for about 3 weeks. Never actually touched on it. Let's touch on it right now. Real quick before we go. The movie was good. Okay. It was good. It was good. I don't get the hate. I don't get the disdain. I don't get the overarching blasé type of feeling. I thought that the movie was good, especially what they've been putting out over the past couple of years. This was a good movie. Red Hulk got done justice. Red Hulk was moving like we wanted OG Hulk, Bruce Banner Hulk, to actually move throughout the whole thing. The fight scenes were dope. The comedy wasn't bad. The action was great. The story, it was slow, but it didn't lose pace per se, which some of the movies have. And it felt like, okay, if this was Anthony Mackie's first stint as Captain America, fully as Captain America, in a full-blown film, I think they did it right. I think that they did it justice. Could it have been better? Sure. Anything can. But on the whole, I think it was pretty good. I think it was worth the watch. I gave it a cool 7 out of 10. That is not bad at all. That's not bad. That's the only thing I wish they actually had done is given that brother the super soldier serum. That's it. He's still operating without it. At least up until this point. That's the only thing. But outside of that, I ain't spoiling the movie. I'm not. But it's like they did it justice. They did it justice. They did him justice. And I think this is for a foundational piece for what they're trying to do to rebuild, potentially rebuild the Avengers on the whole. That's what the current trajectory of all these movies are looking to be. There ain't a, hey. If he was one of the big leaders, I'm not mad. The rest of the squad, we can have a problem with, no question. And even the new Captain Falcon, I loved how they introduced him, how they showed him his growth, how they didn't make him perfect. I'm like, it ain't bad. I'm like, it ain't bad. I'm like, it ain't bad at all. And so I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was okay. No problem at all. No issue whatsoever. I enjoyed it. I don't get the hate. And I'm like, I'd watch it again. I definitely watch it again. No question. So I think it's great. I think the hate's unjustified. So please, maybe go back and look at it. Reevaluate it. Look at it without any misconceptions of who the actors are. Not your Captain America. And I think you'll enjoy it. I really do. Now, what about Oklahoma favorite? Now, who is Oklahoma favorite? I'm not really sure. If you can clarify, would love to talk with you. Would love to don't really know what this comment means. However, if you clarify, would love to have a conversation. Would love to talk and see what you think. But put it in the chat below, and so I can make sure I get exactly what you're saying. Don't know the name, but he's the shoot. You're talking about you're talking about SGA. My bad. You're talking about SGA. Oh, what's the top? Oh, the topic right now is anything. Again, we're in the championship rounds, ladies and gentlemen. You can talk about anything and everything that you have in the show. No matter what you don't, whatever you want to talk about it right now. We got about 15 to 30 minutes left on this segment. Championship rounds is for you to be able to go and see what you want to discuss. And because of that, whatever you want to talk about, movies, video games, comics, more sports, more questions in boxing, basketball, NFL, all that stuff. Absolutely talk about it. And if I can talk about it, I'll discuss it. We can revamp new debates, whatever the case you want to be. That's what your time is to shine right here in the championship rounds right now. But again, Justin Kemp, you're talking about OKC. Just kidding. Shooting guard for Oklahoma, OKC, SGA, is currently in the running for MVP. And we just talked about MVP in the MVP race earlier. That brother is in line. Do I think he should win it this year? At this point in time, no. Because Jokic or Nikola Jokic is having an incredible season. However, I briefly touched on OKC and their dominance and how they can grow. If you pair SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, potentially with the likes of Kevin Durant, come next year, if they trade for him, we are looking at an almost guaranteed championship because SGA has turned himself into a foundational piece for this team for years to come. We saw his growth on the Clippers. Then the Clippers traded him. I can't believe it. Fostered his own identity in OKC and Oklahoma and turned himself into an absolute menace, an absolute dog, an utter dog. And again, not even a great three-point shooter. Doesn't matter. His facilitating and gravity is incredible. His passing is phenomenal. His individual scoring is second to none in the league right now. It's crafty. Doesn't need a bunch of athleticism, but is incredibly adept at understanding how to get you off your game, off balance as a defender, manipulate the defense to get where he wants to be. And with the amount of dogs that he's got around him, from Caruso to Dort to Chet Holmgren, this is a squad coupled with all of the draft picks that they currently have that is built to turn this whole league around. See, we fail to forget, and I think we talked about this in the past, how much actual capital that the OKC Thunder have right now, on top of all the young draft assets that are playing on the squad right now. This team has over 15 draft picks that they can trade. They got about 9 that are first-round draft picks. They got pick swaps with people that if you get a position, they automatically get your pick for drafts years down the line. This team has single-handedly set themselves up to be one of the most diabolical monopolies that this NBA has ever seen, if they play their cards right. And with SGA being there for years to come, my gosh, we're petrified. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Because this team could still trade 6 draft picks, first round, to the Suns, get Kevin Durant, and still have 12 available to use wherever they see fit. And without giving up anybody else, not a player. They have enough draft picks, they could not give up a player and get Kevin Durant and still keep all of their young core. It's preposterous. They can manipulate this so many ways. They could trade one of the young core and get another one the very next year and still get 3 superstars on the squad. And they still have enough for another supermax. This team is built to do whatever they want to do for the next decade. Oh, it's insane. It's ridiculous. Does he know the chip on his shoulder carries the oldest? And I think he embraces it. The chip on his shoulder is exactly why he's playing like he's playing. The very essence of having something to play for, having something to prove, to validate it, it makes him play like he's playing. He's evolved into a dog. He's evolved into one of the best top 5 players in the NBA. He's evolved into an NBA caliber player for upwards of 3 years now. We've had this conversation with SGA for upwards of 3 years. Consistently been in the top 5 for MVP voting. And has turned himself into a leader, a real leader, a dog of a leader. Oh, he's incredible. He's phenomenal. Start bench cut Hakeem, Shaq, or Jokic. Ooh, no, that's a good one. Oh gosh. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. At this point in time, currently at this point in time, I am doggone it. Shoot. At this point in time, I'm starting Shaquille O'Neal. I am benching Hakeem, and I'm cutting Jokic. Now, I know it's crazy what all that stuff I just said about Jokic, right? How dare you just cut him after what you just said? I'm cutting him because, for me, Jokic is one of the best offensive centers that we've seen in NBA history. Turning into one of the best offensive players, period, that we've seen in NBA history. Hakeem was one of the best offensive centers of his time and of all time. One of the most dominant post scorers that we've ever seen. Arguably the best dominant post scorer from the standpoint of footwork, technical ability, brought a new type of he literally unlocked what it meant to be a true post player. Footwork, spin moves, fakes, shimmy shakes, all of it. He helped incorporate and revitalize that. And turn it into something that we still see people copy to this day. He's the foundation for footwork in the post right now. One of the most dominant scorers that we've ever seen. As well as one of the best players as a whole. Because defensively, he's got an argument for being the greatest defensive center that we've ever seen in basketball. Remember, at one point in time, he was top 10 in steals and is still the most, he is top 10 in steals and also leads the league in NBA history with the most blocks in a career since blocks have ever been recorded. And he played in the same vein with Shaquille O'Neal and gave Shaq work, gave everybody work. He won MVP, DPOY, NBA championship, finals MVP, and all-star, all in one season. One of the greatest seasons we've ever seen in NBA history. Hakeem Olajuwon was such a dominating force on both ends of the spectrum that I can't negate that. I cannot negate that. He was and still is. And a lot of people have him as a top 10 player in history. For that reason. Because both sides of the floor, he was so elite. And it's not that Jokic can't get to that same level of stardom. He can't. It's just at this point, he's not there yet. It is. We talked about how Jokic has arguably one of the best peaks that we've seen in basketball history. Hakeem is right there with him as well. He's right there with him as well. Right there with him as well. No question about it. But let's see. But again, that's just my humble opinion. Let's see. Let's see. S. Alexander. Are you talking about Sean Alexander? Running back for the former running back for the Seahawks? Who was at one point in time one of the did he win MVP in the NFL? Oh, Shea Alexander. Okay, my bad. I'm thinking I'm getting my my bad. I'm sorry. I'm getting my stuff mixed up. In terms of sports. But no, yeah. SGA. Shea Gilgeous Alexander. He is that guy. And I think a lot of people don't know about him as much as they should due to how the wider boxing or the wider basketball public talks about basketball. And speaking of which, did y'all see the drama with Stephen A. Smith and LeBron and the whole fallout that they've been having? I haven't got to touch on it, but I've been keeping up with it. And I think what people need to understand, beyond just what we've talked about in the past with how the whole of the NBA gets covered and about how people don't know about SGA and others like they should because they're not nearly talked about enough, or people in the media are late to the party. But with Stephen A. Smith and LeBron, I think brings a new facet of conversation needs to be had when we look at the standpoint of how players are criticized. And he justly deserved all that vitriol and all of the essentially getting stepped to by LeBron. And I'm going to tell you what. Let's see, do you have Jokic over Moses Malone and David Robinson? Moses was multi-time MVP. David Robinson won the better. Ooh. I have Jokic over David Robinson. Jokic over Moses Malone. I think he's either right there or he's above him. Moses Malone right now is the benchmark. Because multi-time, again, the accolades and what he was able to do when he was at his best, oh gosh, it was incredible. But I think Jokic, I think I got him above Moses Malone. And from that point on, now you're elevating up, whatever case you may have. But I think I got him above both of them at this point in time right now. And as you can see, Dr. J ain't just my favorite player, just my favorite player. I tried to study the game, to know my history. This is something completely different. And I think Jokic is above both of them at this point in time right now. Doesn't degrade their greatness. Both of them are in that conversation for centers specifically. Top 10, top 15, no question in my mind. I may even be lowballing what their actual status is. But I think Jokic is either at or above both of them. And I'd favor above both of them as of right now. But listen, Stephen A. is needed to be checked. And he got checked. And you know why he got checked? Stephen A. got checked because that brother went beyond the pale of what it means to be an analyst. What it means to be an analyst. And listen, I'll answer this last one, then I'll go into why Stephen A. got pressed. And then we'll wrap it up from there. But then let's see. Last one, Welch, Shaq, or Kareem start bench cut. Now this one, y'all gonna hate me for this. Y'all probably gonna hate me for this. I'm starting Wilt. I'm benching Kareem. And I'm cutting Shaq. For me. Between those three. Wilt at his best was more than just a power player. Had everything you wanted as a center. He just went against, like everybody else went, against Bill Russell in that dominating squad of like 5 Hall of Famers on one team. He just couldn't get over the hump. But this brother was indeed, he was the best player of that era. Bill Russell was the most acclimated player of that era. But as a player, Wilt had everything except for free throws. That's it. Footwork. He had a turnaround. He could shoot it from 20 feet out. He could power through you. He led the league in assists when he needed to change. Still averaged near 20. We at an old age went to war with a young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and gave him 30 and 12, 36 and 18. Had back and forth wars with each other, which is why they didn't like each other on that and on a personal level. But regardless of which, Wilt was a dog. The brother averaged 50. Averaged 50 and 25. Was averaging 30, and the way he was doing it wasn't just by proxy of him being bigger than everybody else. No. It was because of his actual talent and ability. He was a dog. He would dominate today's game. When the era went over, and again, he played against prime Kareem, Milwaukee Kareem, that was winning MVPs with Oscar Robertson, he was still giving Kareem work, and they were trading 30-point dominating performances. just speaks to how great he really is. And how great phenomenal. For me, he's phenomenal. So that's why I got him there. Kareem because he's Kareem. And Shaq is on the Mount Rushmore of sinners, absolutely. But all of us would agree that Kareem is above him and ahead of him for various reasons. And so, I got Kareem. And then I would have to cut Shaquille O'Neal. From those three, that's what I would do. But then, again, I heard SGA, I heard Stephen A. Smith did the podcast with Skip. They did. They went back up with each other. Absolutely. Absolutely they did. You can go watch it right now on Skip's on Skip's YouTube channel. But when we say Stephen A. needed to be checked, and this is going to be the last thing, and then I'm going to go and wrap it up. Stephen A. Smith needed to be checked because he went beyond what it means to be a sports analyst. It is weird. I am not saying that Stephen A. can't critique, or anybody can't critique the likes of Bronny James, or anybody for that matter. It's your job. Okay, cool. At the same time, rule number one, you challenge LeBron as a father, not as a player. And you challenged Bronny as a son, not as a player. You said, Stephen A. Smith, and I quote, as a father, please stop this. Stop putting your son out in these horrible situations. That is not critiquing a player saying he's not ready to play. That is saying you are a bad father going in and putting your son at a risk that no good father would put them at. What's wrong with you? That's what was being said. That's what Stephen A. Smith went at him for. That wasn't player. That wasn't player oriented. That wasn't criticism. But you challenged me as a parent. And you challenged my son, not as a player. That goes beyond the player. You know it goes beyond the player. If I said that Stephen A. Smith, as an uncle, as a family member, as somebody who's of the Smith name, please stop putting your nephew on these podcasts with you when that brother is not ready for this level of spotlight. You're better than this. You know better than this. Why are you putting your son, who got dry humor, or your nephew, who people would say got dry humor, who ain't really got no real takes, is just there for comedic purposes, and all this stuff ain't really adding anything to the show when it comes to actually anything innovative, anything nuanced, anything of actual quality note. When it comes to you talking about the sports world, he doesn't do any of that at all. And yet you keep on having him consistently coming on the show. He didn't earn his shot, and he clearly ain't prepared. So as a uncle, what is wrong with you? How dare you put your nephew in that same situation? Why would you even think to do that? Where is your couth? Please stop this. As an uncle, stop doing this to your nephew. If I said that about him, am I talking about his ability? Or am I talking about Stephen A. Smith as a family member? That's two completely different things. I'm challenging that brother as a family member, as an uncle, beyond just the pale of work. That's not okay. That's not okay. I'm talking about his nephew, not as a critical pundit, but as your nephew. Your nephew is a bum. If I go that far, that's a problem, ain't it? That's not me. That's not me talking about him as a player. That jumps the shark. There is a clear and discrepant line that Stephen A. Smith knows that he crossed. That we all recognize that if that was the case, if we flip it over and somebody say the same thing about you to your nephew, or dare I say your son and or daughter, we don't know who his children are, but whoever they are, they got into the media world and we said that same thing, that same verbiage to them and to you, you'd have a problem, wouldn't you? Because you know you're not talking about them as a player. You're going to, you're kicking low. You're going below the belt. Because you don't talk about somebody as a son. You don't talk about somebody as a parent. You don't say as a father, please stop doing this to your son. You don't do that. You know you don't do that. As much as you talk about family, relationships, and all this stuff, what you do for your people, what you do for your mom and dad, whatever it could be, as much as you talk about that, you know better. You know better. You've done it with Kevin Durant and his mother. You know better. You said you knew better when you were talking directly to her face. You know this, and you went and did that? Yeah, that's a problem. You wrong, and you know you. I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen A. slapped the mess out of you because he would have been warned. Because he didn't say nothing about you when you were talking about him. But when you go after him as a dad and using his son as a weapon against me as a father in LeBron, of course, yeah, I'm going to step to you. Of course, you better watch yourself. If you got a problem with me now, say it. And Stephen A. Smith said, if you got a problem with him, face him up. Go talk to him. Meet him face to face. LeBron did just that, and now you got an issue. It's like, and on top of that, look, let's go beyond the father aspect of it. Bronny James is the 55th pick in this draft. We all understand the brother probably won't be ready initially. He shows some good promise. He shows some good talent in college. G League now, he's putting up 30, 20 points every single night, being one of the best players on that G League unit. So he is evolving. But we knew he wasn't going to probably be the best he can be. We understood the stipulations of the whole of this thing. Hey, LeBron playing with his son, great, cool. You're not wasting anything by using that pick on a player that nobody really cared about. In the normal sense of the basketball world, when we look at normally late picks, we want to go strictly talking about critiquing talent. Why aren't you talking about Alex Sarr, the first pick in the draft, who's playing like a bum on the Wizards of all teams, that he should be able to run them up? Why are you not talking about Jared McCain and the season he's had before injury? And when he comes back, this squad should be a lot better, or should hopefully be a lot better. Maybe they need to trade somebody else for the likes of Jared McCain so that they can indeed be as great as they can be. Like, get away from Paul George. Maybe get another third star. So when McCain comes back, you got yourself something real. The first 5 picks in the draft, you ain't talking about it all. And they ain't been producing nearly what they should be. Outside of a couple. But you ain't said a thing about them. You ain't said a thing about them being a bust. You ain't said a thing about this draft class being one of the worst draft classes that we've seen. When in the past years, we've seen you critique everybody else in the exact same way. From the standpoint of you ain't showing up, you are showing up. It doesn't make sense. You did it with R.J. Barrett. You did it with Zion Williamson. You did it with Nerlens Noel, Cat, John Wall, all this stuff. And when they weren't playing well in their rookie year, you talked about them as such. Hey, live up to your moniker of what you're supposed to be as a first-round pick. You haven't said anything about any of those people at all this year. Not one peep. Half the people today don't know who the first-round picks were. The first 10 picks in the draft. You ain't talking about old buddy on the Atlanta Hawks, who came over from France, just like with Victor Wembanyama. You ain't talking about him and how he's either A, been wetting the bed, or B, how he's been improving. You ain't talking about him at all. And he plays with Trae Young, one of the most infamous players that we got in the league right now. You ain't said a word about it. You're beyond just the ignorant stuff you're trying to play with, you being almost, you don't understand why stuff ain't happening. Why is everybody being so mad at me? Because you challenged LeBron as a father personally when you have said that you don't touch family. And then you go out your way and use his son as a weapon to challenge his fatherhood, which further goes beyond the pale of what you shouldn't have, what you say you shouldn't do. And then third of all, when it comes to actual within the game, within your game as an analyst, you haven't said a peep about any of the other people that have got drafted 1 through 10 that are playing like a bunch of bums right now. And that's the truth. That's not me trying to say anything. That's the truth of the matter. and you ain't said a peep, but you got all this stuff to say about the 55th pick, and you haven't said anything about the 55th pick before, your standard is skewed. Your basis is not right. There is a difference in understanding what we get media. You got to talk about what people want to talk about. You got to drive money by discussing stuff that actually drives clicks, drives views, makes people want to listen and stay. No question. But at the same vein, don't act stupid. Don't act like a bum. As one of my friends loved to say, don't act like a schmuck that don't know right from left, when all of a sudden you get called out on stuff that you initially perpetuated of your own accord. That is you that caused all of this to happen. You and others in the media. I'm not calling out everybody. Everybody ain't the problem. But he is one of the most vocal problems that have said, come say something to me if you got something to say. This is the issue. We saw Skip Bayless do this. We've seen Jason Whitlock do this. We've seen other pundits that have indeed gone below the belt countless times before. And we all said, no, that ain't right. That's not analyst. That's not analyzing the situation. That is you trying to get clicks by going below the belt and attacking stuff that ain't supposed to be attacked. It's a problem. And you know there's a problem. Don't act like you don't know what's going on. And then when you get checked again, if you get hit, you better hope you can, if you get hit, you better hope you can box better than you did when you tore your rotator cuff. So you can throw in an uppercut like you're doing a Michael Jackson Thriller pose. You better hope you can slip. You used to cover boxing, didn't you? You better hope you can slip and move. Better hope your butt can duck out the way. Because you're going to get knocked out. Because you brought this on yourself with how you're going about attacking, not the player, but attacking the person. Not the play on the court. Not even off-court issues that are affecting the on-court issues or on-court production. But it's the direct attack of you as a father and parent, using Bronny James as a weapon that is wrong. And coupled with the inability to recognize your instability in the weightiness that you cover a 55th first round pick versus the first 10 picks in the draft this year that are absolutely horrible for the majority. And you've essentially given them a pass. If you're talking about the draft, the 55th pick shouldn't mean anything. Jokic didn't even mean something to people up until 3 years down the line when they actually started turning into something. There is a standard, there's a misalignment in the standard. And you know it. Don't act foolish like you doing something that is just, ho hum, I'm just doing my job. No, you ain't. You ain't doing your job at all. You ain't doing your job. Y'all can see me on this show, on this very show. Y'all talk to me. And y'all see what I say about Tank, about Ryan Garcia, about T.O., all that stuff outside with problems. I've done my best to make sure that when I talk about them, I put them one in their proper context. And I never try to jump the gun and going below the belt and attacking them as humans. Everything only revolves around strictly or goes back to the on-court or in-ring issues and or I want to call out a problem because it is detrimentally affecting them and their person. And I want them to get better. I want them to fix this because nobody is talking about this. And if they don't hear what's happening and they may not see the lens they may not see what's going on internally that the public sees. And we don't want that to be the downfall like we've seen with other great athletes, boxers, basketball, don't matter who. We don't talk about it in a sense just to vilify. We talk about it to bring it up to edify, and it's done in that proper context. If it hasn't, please tell me and I'll change it. But we've tried to do that same thing on this show. Whenever we talk about stuff, but we never use anything as a weapon to attack you personally, to question you as a man and or father, if anything. There is a line that you don't cross, and you crossed it. I've done my best to try to make sure I never cross that line. We critique, we curtail, we talk, we discuss, we analyze, but we never jump that short because we know. We know we never want to be put in that situation ourselves. And we know there is a standard to keep. And Stephen A. and others have continually dropped that standard of recent and want to play the fool and act like they ain't done nothing wrong. Intentionally and willingly missing the point. That's the problem. That's the major problem. That's what I can't stand. I can't stand it. Barney James is in the public eye. Why can't SGA or Stephen A. Smith criticize him? Everybody has been on Barney James, and it's because of LeBron's own selfishness. And see, when we talk about Bronny, you want to use nepotism. Again, I go back to Stephen A. Smith and his nephew. There's plenty of people. There's plenty of people I know personally that deserve to be in the same spotlight that his nephew has gotten right now. His nephew ain't done a doggone thing that I know to earn the shot of getting there. But he's there because his son, or Stephen A., put him on there. And it's not a situation where but you never see us talking about him in a negative light. We've seen nepotism before. How many times have college coaches given their sons a spot on the team when they can't play? How many players have gotten to the league by proxy of their father who played before them? It ain't like it ain't happened before. It's happened multiple times. Too many to even count in some situations. Boxing. We've seen boxers who have trained use their son to get into the sport because of their name, and they automatically get a push. We know this happens. We get it. Nepotism is not something that's new, and it's not selfishness either. We covered this in the past. It's not selfishness either to be able to say, I can play with my son, who, mind you, if you may not know, but before Bronny James' heart attack in college, he was genuinely playing incredibly well and was actually seen at USC as a very high caliber prospect. Even coming out of high school, he was seen as, okay, this man is more than just LeBron's son. He's got some actual talent to him. The heart attack and the heart failure took away a full, 2 years of college. He couldn't play. And so getting back into the realm of what he used to be is a timetable. We're starting to see it now in the G League more and more. Starting to get more acclimated, more comfortable. Great. But before he was even close to the draft, he was getting respect off of his own merit. So when he was actually able to be taken, they took him. And he probably would have been picked higher by somebody if he had been able to play all of his years of college with no external issues because of what he was showing in college early on before the heart attack. He was indeed playing. He wasn't playing bad. He wasn't playing bad at all. This is what we have to understand. Full context around this. This is not LeBron's selfishness. If anything, if anything, part of the reason why Doc Rivers' son, Austin Rivers, stayed in the NBA for as long as he did, even after his great stint at Duke, which again, it wasn't great. But the reason why he stayed in the NBA when he should have been out a good chunk of years ago was because of his dad. Let's not act like that ain't the truth. Let's not act like that ain't real either. That brother got to the NBA and was a bust of bust. From the standpoint of what we thought he would be. He stayed in the league strictly because his father was in it. In fact, his team, Clippers, when Doc Rivers was coaching, was the only team that actually picked him up. And then boom. One stint with Nuggets and he's gone. Because that brother couldn't play at all. Couldn't hack it. Most of the respect that he's got was because of his dad. who was a coach. Was that nepotism? Was that selfishness? There was plenty of better players that you could have gotten that could have fit the same contract that you gave Austin Rivers. If you wanted to still fill out your team, you didn't have to get your son, did you? No. Now, again, Rivers was a good player in college. Like I said, in college. When he got to the NBA, drastically shifted into a role player. Respectfully. But at the time when he got to the Clippers, specifically, when they could have gotten some better pieces outside of Austin Rivers, because Austin Rivers has showed what he was at that point in time, and they were still looking to be a championship type organization on the cusp of getting to some level of playoff success. You didn't need to sign Austin Rivers as Doc Rivers was coaching the squad. You didn't. You really could have gotten some better people at that point in time, a lot of better people at that point in time, with the contract that Austin Rivers was asking for and gotten, and you paid him. But they picked him up because he was his son. And it was widely accepted. Yeah, he got in because of his son. And he stayed in the league longer than he should have because of his son. Or because of his dad, excuse me. We all recognize, most NBA fans recognize that. Because it's the truth. But that's not selfishness. We don't call that selfishness. We don't call Stephen A. putting his nephew on his own show that he gets upwards of 50,000, 500,000 views every single upload. We don't call that selfishness. Giving his nephew a platform that he didn't deserve, that he hasn't earned. We didn't hear about that brother until I didn't know he had a nephew until he came on the show. Ain't even doing analysts, just being a comedic personality, but not adding anything. But still, we don't call that anything except for, hey, we're glad you're giving opportunities. Great. That's what's been widely accepted. We can go nepotism for nepotism for every other stint in this world of sports that we have. We can do that, but we don't. Because we know that we know it's not applicable. Because that was the case. There's plenty of situations where, yes, nepotism. And shoot, Torian Prince on the Bucks is the only reason why he's on the Bucks after what he did against the likes of what he did on Los Angeles when Darvin Ham left was because of the fact that he was the fact that we saw Prince go to the Bucks. They had to go into the Lakers because Darvin Ham went to the Bucks, and Darvin Ham and Prince is one. They're like two peas in a pod. Is that selfishness? We can keep going down the list. I'm not trying to say and point out every inconsistency. I'm saying we have to stop calling stuff. We have to stop calling stuff nepotism or selfishness. We've seen this all around the league. And indeed we have. And if there was anybody that deserved to have this level of at least, okay, give me one act that I can just do for me, would it not be LeBron? We've had this conversation before. And direct people in media can't call the kettle black when their kettle is filled with soot. Because they've done the exact same stuff for their own people because of their position in media, in ESPN or Fox, whatever the case may be. It's a problem. It is a major problem. And for many of them, they ain't even in a position where, yeah, you put enough time to deserve to put somebody on, but you did anyway. That didn't deserve it in the slightest. Again, I'm not trying to point fingers, but I'm trying to point out an inconsistency. Bronny and LeBron were attacked as father and son, not as player and player. Stephen A. keeps on willingly wanting to miss that fact. Don't know why. But he has said that he doesn't do that for others directly. And yet he's doing it in this situation. That is a bold-faced problem. You do not attack. There is a difference in attacking or criticizing somebody in the public eye based on what they are doing versus using them as a weapon to attack somebody else. There is a full-blown difference. We can say Bronny James isn't ready for the NBA. We can say Bronny James maybe shouldn't have been picked by LA and he should have gone somewhere else. We can say Bronny James should have been put full time in the G League instead of splitting time between the G League and the actual NBA season. We can say all those things about him as a player. We can say defensively he's got some talent. We can say offensively in the G League he's showing great, but in the NBA he's really struggling. There is some disconnect that needs to click. The button needs to start driving more. Use the athleticism to get to the hole a little bit more. Utilize that floater, especially as somebody that's 6'1". Once you use your explosiveness to beat your man, to potentially get some better opportunities to shoot and more high-quality shots. Pace yourself a little more. You don't have the IQ necessary to make the right play when you get in trouble. So don't put yourself in trouble in the first place. We can have those types of talks. We can talk about his three-point shooting. We can talk about, in some cases, his unwillingness to go to the hole when he should be able to get and beat his man. We can talk about all that stuff. That is criticizing the player. But when I go and then flip the switch to say, as a father, stop putting your son out in these situations, that is not criticizing the player. That is not just talking about somebody when they're in the public eye. That is the completely different connotation of talent, that's a completely different connotation of conversation that goes beyond the pale of just talking to or talking about what you're doing on the floor. That goes beyond that. You know it and I know it. I'm not trying to say that don't talk about Bronny. I'm not trying to say that he doesn't deserve any ridicule. He does. But at the same time, weaponizing him just to go at LeBron is a problem. Weaponizing him as a son is a problem. And even if you're just talking about ball, not talking about the top 10 picks that also are doing terrible, like Alex Sarr and others. Completely disavowing Jared McCain and when he comes back, how great he can be and what the Sixers need to do to bolster his development as a player. Because when he comes back, this team can still be good. Even with all the drama that they got right now, but they got to get rid of Paul George potentially. Talking about the Hawks rookie who came in from France. All these different players that have had more acclaim, success, consistent success, and they had a reputation already. And you haven't said a thing about them in the slightest. That is a imbalance in your critiquing. We also get everybody won't be talked about the same. But at the same time also, we have never discussed a 55th round pick, a 55th pick in the first round, like we are discussing LeBron or Bronny James, excuse me. We didn't even discuss Nikola Jokic. And that brother got drafted in the midst of a Taco Bell commercial. And we didn't talk about him in the slightest up until he started becoming something. We didn't care. You know why? Because we never cared. You never cared. Yet now all of a sudden, this is a big deal. And so that's where the problem lies. The inconsistencies across the board. It's not okay. Not okay at all. Who you got, Ryan or Rolly? I got Ryan Garcia by knockout. I got him knocking him out. Now, we'll break down the fight as it gets closer on. We're going to break down that whole card. No question. But I got Rolly Romero getting knocked out by Ryan Garcia. Absolutely. No question about it. Rolly Romero is powerful. Don't get me wrong. He can catch and hurt Ryan. Absolutely, because he got the power. But when it comes to his actual ability, no. That buddy going to get sparked out. He going to get sparked out. If a slow but powerful Barroso can put that man on the back foot and have that buddy nearly out, don't tell me that Ryan Garcia can't do the same in more dominant fashion and catch that brother in the pocket with the left hook or right hand or even an uppercut that sends that brother down before he can even react. Oh, absolutely. 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 Oh, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a great knockout. In fact, that's why Rolly Romero got brought in, because he's a big name that can talk. Skills ain't all that great, but he can knock him out. And because he can knock him out, it'll go viral, further implementing not just the big star that Ryan Garcia is, but helping bolster the makeup of having Ryan versus doggone it, having Ryan versus Devin Haney as an even bigger hype job. Do you think Ryan got skills? I think that he is developing skills. And what that means, probably going to talk about it next show. But I think he's not as skillful, but he knows how to use his physical traits better than a lot of people do. Everybody may not be as skilled, but their ability to understand what to do with their physical gifts, like with his speed and timing specifically. He knows how to do that in droves. And he's got some skills. He ain't just a bum. He's not the most skillful fighter. But as you saw against Devin Haney, who was more skilled than him, he knows how to negate it. And he can negate it. But what skills he has and what skills he'll gain in the build-up to potentially the rematch with Devin Haney, we'll talk about that later on in the weeks. But we got to go, because we got to go and get out, because I need some food. And shoot, y'all got to enjoy your day. So with all that being said, this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, Jean-Louis Welch, saying thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show today. Again, we still went over 3 hours, doggone. I try to keep it under 2, but we just keep on having some fun and keep on talking, and we appreciate you all coming out. Thank you so much for indeed coming in and joining on The Watchable with me, yo, Jean-Louis Welch. We are going to be back here on Thursday. When I'm coming back tomorrow on Thursday, same time, same place. This episode is also going to be available on every podcasting platform after today. I'm going to upload it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, rate it 5 stars there, and go back and listen to all the episodes. But again, leave a like on the stream, comment, no, not even comment, share the show with everybody that you know. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed. I've been Jean-Louis Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. We'll see you all on Thursday. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. We gone. We're going to see you all on Thursday with more action, with more questions, with more comments, concerns, debates. Tell anybody you know to come on the show. Replay the show if you want to. And hey, we'll see y'all in what was it, a day? A day or two. We're going to see y'all in a day or two on Thursday. And we're going to be right here on and popping, covering the world of sports right with you in your living room or wherever you are. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We're getting out of here. Peace and love. See you all on Thursday.